So Harp, outside of Alabama scoring a season-low 41 points against
All right, we'll get back to Harp in 1 second. When
better by the end of the year. And so game 8, 9, 10.
All right, back with you on the next round. or just starting if you're with us here on the YouTube channel. We spent the first 40 minutes of the show over on our StreamYard. You audio folks who are joining us now, thank you for being with us. Show number 800 today. I won't rekindle or recap how it's a landmine that we ended up here in this situation, but we're here for the next 2.5, 3 hours as we roll into a big college football weekend. We've already talked about last night's NFL game. Congratulations to Forrester's team, the Atlanta Falcons, who beat my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the first chance, Tyler, to give Forrester an opportunity to say something about the game last night. Forrester, you and I, you were being a great dad. You were somewhere, and I were texting you score updates, and there was a lot of them.
Yeah, I was at the game that my little one was cheering at, and the Falcons are going to make every game dramatic.
Well, they are fun to watch. I'll give you that. Now, some of the games are low scoring, but they're all close.
Yeah.
Last night wasn't low scoring.
So we talked about that. We talked about LT being 3-0 because he had the Falcons. He had the fact that he was on the Mets, who had that historic walk-back win. And you can get Lance's play. 3-0 last night, a big winner the night before that. He's on what we like to call a heater. This is back in our radio days when Brownie and I would then start gambling at that point and ride the heater out. It usually starts and lasts for about a month and a half. Lance'sLock.com, brought to you by our friends at Hemphill.
Yeah, jump on board with us again. 3-0 last night. We've got 3 plays in college football tonight. We're 4-1 in the Major League Baseball postseason. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
That included a Texas State win last night in college football, correct?
Yeah, dominant win by Texas State in Troy.
Boy, they have fallen off.
Yeah, Troy has fallen off. And, you know, this Texas State team, you go back, 2 one-possession tight losses. But Texas State is a team that everybody would be talking about as a potential Group 5 automatic playoff contender. But they do have the 2 losses. But that's still a really good team with Jordan McLeod at quarterback.
And Sam Houston beat UTEP at the beautiful Sun Bowl down in El Paso. The seats look pretty bad because that's about the only one that were at the game, at least on the TV side. But that was your Thursday night. Friday night's very different. And here's our Wonder Fan look ahead to the games tonight. Before LT tells you about Wonder Fan, you get the first look at Kennesaw State's beautiful little stadium over in Kennesaw, Georgia.
I think you called it cute.
Yeah, cute little stadium over at Kennesaw State. You get to see it on national TV tonight, 6 o'clock, CBS Sports Network. Jack State and Kennesaw State.
Hey.
It's been a disappointing season thus far for Jack State, right?
It has. 1 win, gave another win away on the road. Should be 2-2. They are 1-3, however, but they are also a 2-touchdown favorite at mybookie.ag on this one. Yeah. So this is a game Jack State should win.
Houston and TCU go tonight. The Willie Fritz, who used to coach at Tulane, we had John Summerall on the Tulane on the show yesterday, the current Tulane head coach. If you remember, Willie Fritz had a good quarterback. They played sort of a fast-paced offense. If you watch Houston football, the Cougars play right now.
Awful.
It is the slowest, worst offense to watch on television. It is miserable to watch. And they're playing TCU tonight. Don't know what Lance is like, if he's going to play this game at all tonight. But this does not seem like it'll be an offensive gem of a game. Seems to be yucky,
I've got
yucky.
Side TCU is a 16.5-point favorite. I've got the side. I stayed away from the total. I've got the side Michigan State, Oregon, and I've got the side Syracuse, UNLV. So 3 sides tonight. Back to Houston. This is a situation where Willie Fritz, his family, very comfortable in New Orleans, and did a great job with this Tulane program, putting them up to where they are right now with John Summerall, the head coach who we had on yesterday. But Willie Fritz looked at this. We've got a really good collective at Houston, somewhat of a new stadium. We're in the Big 12. I have an opportunity year in, year out, if I can build this up, to get to the postseason, something that's going to be a lot more difficult to do at Tulane. And, oh, by the way, probably making an extra $1 million plus.
51 is your mybookie.ag total. So if you're inclined to take the under, which you say you should be, 51 is that number.
I don't think I said that.
You said yucky, low-scoring game. I thought
No, yesterday was his.
Yeah, what happened there, Lance?
Atlanta.
Yeah, Lance, what happened? Overtime.
That was Atlanta set offensive records.
How
66 points.
The way the totals are in the NFL, if it hits overtime, it's got no shot of being under, right?
Well, it depends. I mean, you can get a walk-off with just 6 points. It depends on where you are.
Yeah.
The college football is what really scares you when you get to overtime. And now the 2-point.
The 2-point changed that, though.
It did, yeah. When it used to be back in the day and you go 6-7 overtimes where teams are scoring touchdowns back and forth, a game that was flying under could fly over.
Tell us about WonderFan, and then we'll finish the schedule tonight with the two better games.
Yeah, our friends at WonderFan want to remind you it's a stadium rewards app where sports fans earn real rewards simply by cheering for your favorite team. All you need to do is head over to the App Store, download the app, WUNDERFAN. That's WonderFan. Check in once you're at the stadium and let your earnings grow. It's that easy. During each game you attend, you'll earn in the background once you press start, and once you have enough once you have enough earnings, you can redeem for cash vouchers to your favorite retailers like Dick's, Champion, Lululemon, 47 brand, and more. There's even weekly ticket giveaways. You can use your points to enter. New rewards added weekly. Again, just head to the App Store, search WonderFan, WUNDERFAN. Start being paid for your fan loyalty. WonderFan, it pays to be a fan.
And our friends at the Pan Store getting you ready for this road trip weekend. If you're an Alabama or an Auburn fan, the Pan Store is your game day headquarters. They've got gear for you to buy in person at 2 locations in Birmingham, or several locations in Birmingham. They got the original one in Leeds as well, but also Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn. For all your polos, hats, and quarter zips, your name brands like Horn Legend, Cutter Buck, Antigua, and Gentile, and the ladies, the rompers, and the dresses, and the fall wear are in store right now. It's what Little T and EG wear on their game days as well. It's from the Pants Store, free alteration, free gift wrapping. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like our friends at the Pants Store. 2 more good games tonight before we get to Todd Fuhrman coming up at the top of the hour. Fuhrman will join us from Las Vegas to talk about the whole slate of Week 6 coming up. But 2 more tonight. Houston and TCU, we mentioned. Michigan State struggles offensively playing Oregon. 8 o'clock main Fox tonight. Has not seemed like, to me anyway, that Oregon has had one clean game where it felt like they were their normal selves. Something seems to be a tick-off, almost like a spark plug isn't going right, or something's a little water in the gas tank. It's just not hitting on all cylinders.
I thought, Lance, it was for the first half of that UCLA game. And then you made the point that one turnover, it didn't change the outcome of the game, but it changed the way the game went. I mean, from that point on, Oregon was not the same.
Well, here is the positive for Dan Lanning's Ducks. Through their first 3 games, they had 33 penalties. When you're averaging 11 penalties a game, it's hard to win and win going away. Last 2 games, they've cleaned it up, only 5 total penalties. They're playing against the Michigan State team since 2005. They've only traveled to the Pacific time zone and Mountain time zones 4 times. They're 0-4 straight up. They're 0-4 against the number. But Jonathan Smith did beat Oregon as Oregon State's head coach in 2020 and 2022. He has familiarity, going to Eugene, going against Oregon.
And Aiden Childs has played against Oregon before their quarterback, right?
Yep. I just don't know if they've got enough to hold up with Oregon. Oregon, they haven't had that complete game yet.
It may be the best game of the night. Not the best helmet game, but the best game of the night. Syracuse and UNLV, 8 o'clock on FS1, opposite of that Michigan State-Oregon game on main Fox, where UNLV is trying to, they're number 25 in the rankings. They're tied with Texas A&M in the AP poll. They are trying to stay relevant in that Group of 5 race. But here comes Fran Brown, Syracuse, and that Georgia defensive scheme to try to shut down UNLV, who's now gone to their backup quarterback because of that NIL deal. And he's been pretty good so far, but I don't know what to make of him in this contest.
Hajj Malik Williams. Yep. And Lance, he's obviously the better passer. I was going to pull up his numbers real quick. 13 of 16, 182, 3 touchdowns. And you're like, that's the better passer? Oh, yeah, significantly better than what you were getting with Sluka. Sluka didn't complete half his passes.
I was surprised with the quarterback change that not that they beat Fresno, the way they beat Fresno. Because if you go back, Fresno had the game in Ann Arbor in doubt against Michigan. It was a pick 6 from Will Johnson that ended up separating that game and making the margin of victory look a lot different. But this UNLV team is the real deal. They really are.
And Williams did bring 119 rushing yards, so they don't lose anything at running the ball from the quarterback.
Yeah, he's averaging almost 10 yards a carry right now. So this offense, they call it the go-go offense. Whoever the quarterback is, they're put in a position to be successful as long as they're not turning the football over. And this kid is from Campbell. He's played a ton of football.
This is his 6th season.
Now, this will be his first start ever in prime time for whatever that matters.
6th season, though. Think about that, Dunaway. 6th season of football for this kid.
So those are the games tonight. So you got a couple of good ones. And you got Jack State in action as well. So 4 games tonight on a Friday night that you can enjoy. No baseball. All the baseball starts tomorrow in the division series and work their way through the weekend, and we'll jump back on baseball next week. So there you go. Don't forget you can go download on our social media our little easy-to-handle note card and TV guide on both sides there, however way you want it. You can get that at Next Round Live. Give us a thumbs up if you're with us here on the show. Make sure you're subscribed. Forrester pointed out over 25,000 subscribers now here on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here with that. Thank you, Forrester. And Brown yesterday sent out a bunch of positive numbers on what we've done the first 9 months. And thank you to you guys for doing that. Brown said it nicely on social media. You can go check those posts out and see what he's been talking about over there. When we come back, Fuhrman from Vegas, from the desert, Dr. B has turned that deserted sandy head of yours back into a thriving forest.
Yeah, hey, look, if you're thinning out, you know anybody that's thinning out, be preemptive. Not only me, but now Brown going to see Dr. B. Got that first consultation years ago, and since then, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. Did the non-invasive treatment on the couch last night watching football. I do that 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. That is it. Again, non-invasive treatment. All I'm doing right now, the hair has more than doubled in thickness. Call Dr. B and that great staff today, 205-319-0316. Dr. B offers Sensus Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
And if you want to go see America do it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I had a dream last night. My family and I were out in an RV. I just remembered that dream. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. That's where you find them. I'm sure my family and my dream went right there to Johnston RV Center and paid $145 a month, as low as that for a travel trailer. Maybe we saved on a fifth wheel, $45,000 or more in savings. I know what we did do when we went to Johnston RV Center, my dreams. We got warranty on anything new or qualifying pre-owned from RV Warranty Forever, so we've got peace of mind. You can do all of that either in my dreams or at JohnstonRVCenter.com. It's much easier than getting to my dreams. Just go to JohnstonRVCenter.com. Fuhrman is next.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Rays, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Ryan Brown here for the next round. Join me and CBS sports analyst Brandon Marcello for the Middle Eight each Monday at 8 a.m. as we look back at the weekend of college football from the SEC to the top 25 of the college football playoff. It's the Middle Eight presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Back with you now in the next round as we go to hour number 2. Maybe a little overtime today since we had a little technical problem to start with. Just hang with us until we get to it. We also have our 4 downs today. We've got our pick 3 today, which we'll get to right after Fuhrman, a little delayed from our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. And we've got our headlines all coming up. All that to get to today. Being brought to you in part by our friends at NASCAR Racing. I mean, Fuhrman's a great NASCAR guy.
We're going to ask him.
He has one of the best NASCAR podcasts in America. So more on that in a second, but you can still get tickets to the race weekend over at Talladega, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Today it's a Truck Series playoff race, and then tonight I believe it's the first ever rodeo being held inside of Talladega. I mean, one with cowboys and steers and bulls. They've played cowboys and rodeos in there before, but not with real live animals. It is, well, maybe they have. It's Talladega. It's Buck and Dega tonight, and then you got the Jake Owen concert tomorrow night after the Xfinity playoff race, and then the Yellowwood 500. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
So Fuhrman is with us now, BetTheBoardPodcast.com. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Fuhrman, we have allowed another Talladega race to go past without you coming here. You've always wanted to come to a race here. We've told you we'll host you. Let's go ahead and get it on. Are you guys good for the spring race?
Spring
race, Fuhrman.
That's the one he wants to go to.
Will you commit to a spring race, Fuhrman?
The spring race is much easier, given that you don't have a conflict with the football calendar and everything else. I know the implications of Sunday's Cup race much greater as far as the overall playoff picture and such, but we will definitely have to work proactively to make sure that we can get that spring race going for next year, because there's no doubt I want to get down there and see all of the lovely sights and sounds of Talladega Boulevard at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's. I don't think we can describe it. I don't think we can adequately describe it.
I think you're going to enjoy it. I love going to the spring race. I'm right there with you. The football complicates things on a Sunday, trying to watch my Rams, but I think you need to commit.
Would you be willing to stay in a RV in the infield right there on the boulevard?
Do I have to stay in the RV with you, Dunaway, or do I get to pick who stays in the RV with me? How does this dynamic exactly unfold?
No, I leave when I'm done, and I go back and I sleep either in a hotel or back at my house. I will not be in an RV.
Do I come out a changed man for better or worse if I sleep in an RV?
That's an unknown.
It's not,
definitely changed. Yeah. We don't know which way.
It's not prison. We're not sending you to prison.
Hey, that is a fair point. I will say, I didn't have the opportunity. Some of my closest friends in college during spring break, they actually bookended one of our spring break trips down to Florida with a stop at Darlington. They still tell those stories 20 years later about the conversations they heard, the people they met, so I can only imagine that Talladega can probably dwarf that overall experience.
I do want to ask you about a game tonight on the college football slate, but first I want to go back last night. I don't know if you were actually physically in one of these sports books, but I just wonder where the bigger eruption was, the Hodge walk-off in overtime for the Falcons or Pete Alonso, the 3-run shot against Milwaukee.
Spoke to books, and when we have games like that going on at night, usually the NFL will draw the bigger betting handle, but actually a number of sports books across the city made sure that they paid close attention to the Major League Baseball game. And while the Mets don't draw quite the same way as the Yankees or Dodgers do out here, it's still a pretty prominent fan base. So from what I had been told and the stories that had been shared with me, that it did get a quite loud eruption there. The Brewers don't exactly move the needle, so there is no doubt sportsbooks, as far as the National League were concerned, are thrilled about the two matchups they have with interdivision rivals. And as far as the American League, I think everyone from Fox TV executives to a casual baseball fan is hoping that it's the Yankees that emerge, not the Tigers, Guardians, or Royals, if you're looking for a little bit of star power. So interesting dynamics for sure, and no doubt a congested sportsbook atmosphere both on Saturday and Sunday, where you can make the case that maybe the baseball games on Saturday are better than some of the college football viewing we have on tap.
Yeah, no disrespect to Texas State, who I don't know where you were on the Bobcats last night, but they do have 2 losses now, but a really, really good Group 5 team. But I think the teams that people are looking at right now to get that auto would be Boise, would be James Madison, would be UNLV right there in your backyard playing and hosting Syracuse tonight. Have people started to jump public money a little bit on the running Rebs just with this start that they've had?
Well, you mentioned Texas State, and disappointing for them that they squandered a 22-0 lead against Sam Houston State the week before. So to your point, I think that takes them out of the running for the G5 mix. They can no doubt still win the Sun Belt and play spoiler there, as JMU has kind of looked like the best team with some ridiculous scorelines they put forth. But UNLV has definitely caught the attention of bookmakers and recreational bettors. You look at what this team has done. 2 Power 4 wins that may not look that great on paper right now against Houston and Kansas as the season progresses, but a dominant performance with Malik Hodge-Williams last week, taking over for Matthew Sluka in dispatching Fresno State. And this game tonight at Allegiant Stadium would be the first time that UNLV has ever hosted an ACC opponent. It's the biggest number that UNLV has laid to a Power 4 program since 2003, where they closed a double-digit favorite against the Kansas Jayhawks. So this should be an electric atmosphere. Just trying to make the decision if I want to get myself out of the office and head down there to see the Orange come invade. But UNLV, Boise State appear to be teams on a crash course for a Friday night date in late October out here in the desert as well, if things continue to hold the way they have.
Only one ranked game this weekend. Missouri is at Texas A&M right out of the gate, 9 a.m. your time, 11 a.m. for us on ABC. This Missouri team just hasn't looked as explosive as they did last year. Do you still have faith that explosiveness will come offensively?
They definitely look to be a step slower on that side of the ball, and it begs the question, has Kirby Moore and Eli Drinkwitz been playing coy through the first portion of the schedule? I don't think they imagined they were going to get tested or pushed the same way they were by Vanderbilt when you're a 3-touchdown favorite, knowing that you had a bye week before the schedule stiffens considerably, at least on paper. So I'm as curious as anyone if the offense looks to be much more like the group we saw last year, because the thing that stands out to me so far is the usage or lack thereof of Luther Bird in the passing game compared to what he typically does with a full workload. So we'll get an early indication if Missouri has a few wrinkles in their game plan against a very stout Texas A&M defense. And on the other side, of course, who will start under center for the Aggies? I'm working under the assumption, and the people that I've spoken to, that it'll still be Marcel Reed and not Connor Wegman. If this number does get out to 3, Missouri becomes a very intriguing underdog. Even if I have questions about their overall collective defensive body of work, I just don't think A&M's a team that you feel comfortable with laying points, even a short number like this, when you consider how fortunate they were to beat Arkansas by 4 last week and their penchant for timely turnovers again.
Todd Fuhrman is with BetTheBoardPodcast.com, BetTheBoardPodcast.com. All the games, even ones we don't talk about, you can go find them there at BetTheBoardPodcast.com, at Todd Fuhrman on Twitter. He's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Alabama's a 22.5-point favorite in Nashville. Auburn's a 22.5-point dog in Athens right now at MyBookie.ag. Keeping it closer, do you have more faith in Vandy against Alabama or Auburn against Georgia?
I have a little bit more faith in Vandy than I do in Auburn in the game. Not saying I'm making a case for Georgia by any stretch of the imagination in that spot, but I have seen some money that I truly respect that's come in on Vanderbilt in the first half, plus 13 or better out there. And we've also seen some under money. This total got as high as 56. What's interesting about this game, if you listen to the press conferences with Clark Lee, he said his primary goal is to shorten the game. Vanderbilt flat out knows they don't have the big-time playmakers or the explosives in their back pocket if Alabama's offense starts running downhill like we saw in that first quarter against Georgia last week. You dig into Alabama and some of the other scores we've seen against Wisconsin, against USF, they needed to live on those explosives to try and create that separation. I don't think Alabama gets pushed that they should be on upset alert, but I can see a scenario where if they're a little bit flat early, Vanderbilt with 2 weeks to prepare, they find a way to hang around in this game and try and turn it into a little bit more of a rock fight than Alabama would like.
On Alabama, while we're there, after the win over Georgia, 2 questions on odds. What did it do in Vegas for Alabama's national championship odds, and what did it do for Jalen Milroe's Heisman odds, which I think actually changed at halftime?
Yeah, the Heisman odds were moving throughout the course of the game, and they should have. After the first quarter, when you put on that kind of dominant performance leading a Kalen DeBoer offense, it's going to catch the eyes of everyone. And it's done so much in terms of the overall Heisman picture that we're looking at Jalen Milroe at the majority of books, the favorite in that particular market at a price just shy of 3-1. What he was able to do was leap over the likes of Cameron Ward and some of the other SEC quarterbacks that were there. The big loser last weekend in the Heisman market, if you want to call it that, would be Jackson Dart, who saw his price dip from 6-1 all the way down to 20, and we'll get a much better indication of what the Ole Miss quarterback can do, not just this week against South Carolina, but next week against LSU as well. And in terms of Alabama to win the national championship, we've seen their odds shorten. Most books haven't brought them to a price shorter than the Ohio State and even Georgia right now, and I know we'll get to that in a second. But when you look at the SEC, given what that win meant, they have the shortest price on the board, right around 2-1, 2.5-1, just shorter than Texas in the conference. Power rating-wise, though, for me, I still make Georgia a 2.5-point favorite over Alabama on a neutral, given the fact that Georgia was the better football team for 3 quarters. Alabama just hit them with haymakers and then hung on for dear life.
They never learn. They never learn in Vegas.
Hey, look, look, guys, I came on with you and I said that I thought Alabama was one of the best bets to win the SEC given the price. So I've been high on Alabama, but I do have some questions about that defense and a secondary that's going to have to mature gradually throughout the season, because offensively they're as good as anybody in the country when Milroe gets going, but it'll be fascinating to see how this team continues to improve, and I think Alabama fans should be extremely excited about the ceiling of this bunch.
Very random game here, and I'm going to stay away from it because it's an 11 o'clock Central Time kick, but Pittsburgh undefeated under Pat Narduzzi. Eli Holstein, the former Alabama quarterback, transfers there, is putting up big numbers. Now they're going against Carolina. They're only laying 3, and this Carolina team gives up 72 weeks ago to James Madison. They blow a 20-0 lead against rival Duke and lose that game 21-20. Carolina seems like a really good play here, but I don't know how you can trust them based on the last 2 weeks.
Normally, just based on the number, I would make a case for Carolina as a 3-point home underdog, but given everything that's gone on over the last few weeks, LT, you nailed it. I actually laid the short price on Pittsburgh at -2, and I still think they're a decent bet under a field goal. Pittsburgh, 2 weeks to heal up and come into this game, albeit with a target on their back, but they do get the expected starting running back in the mix. Rodney Hammond cleared to play this week, so that gives them a little bit more offensively. And while you're always scared about laying points with Narduzzi on the road, I looked at that despondent body language for North Carolina, talked to the folks that were close to that particular program. They weren't sure what kind of effort they were going to get out of North Carolina against Duke. They built that 20-0 lead, and things just started to spiral. They couldn't get off the field. They couldn't stop the run. And this feels like a runaway freight train, unfortunately, in Chapel Hill, where Mac Brown finishes out out the season. If they come this week and play with a complete effort, they have the talent and the pieces to beat Pittsburgh. I'm just not sure from a psychological standpoint that they're going to be ready to go. So I'll take Pittsburgh, and I'll lay the short number, anything better than -3.
Speaking of not being ready to go, Taylon Green and Arkansas playing host to Tennessee. This feels like this game all rides on Taylon Green. Can he create? But the biggest question, can he not make mistakes? This Tennessee team handled the road trip to Oklahoma. They won it and they covered. And now they get to go to Arkansas, where people are trying to make a case, Fuhrman, of Arkansas in an upset here, or Arkansas keeping this close under the number. What do you think of this big orange Vol team on the road?
It's a great question with Taylon Green. I think anyone who watched him during his time at Boise State knows what the Taylon Green experience is like. He'll make throws that leave you absolutely wowed and dazzled, and then he'll make decisions that go, who the hell is he throwing the football to? And I think Arkansas fans have already kind of lived through that experience with a very short sample size. Now, on the positive for Arkansas, you look at what they've done when they've stepped up in class. I mean, they dominated Oklahoma State in the box score, a huge yardage edge. They just finished that game -2 and gave up a defensive touchdown. And they were the better team last week from an offensive standpoint against A&M, but you can't win conference games when you finish -3 in the turnover department. For Tennessee, this team defensively has caught a lot of people by surprise. We knew this defensive line was going to be real good, but there were major questions about the secondary. Unfortunately for Vols fans, I still have those questions. When I look at the offenses that Tennessee has played at the FBS level, Oklahoma, 109th in total offense, 114th in yards per play. Kent State, 134th in total offense in the FBS, 132nd in yards per play. And NC State, arguably the best FBS offense, they're 108th in yards per play. So this group will get tested a little bit more this weekend. Arkansas talking about how their quarterback has a little bit of a confidence issue right now and some concerns along that O-line. If it got to 14, I would value bet Arkansas here in prime time. I think that'll be an electric atmosphere. But going to use this one as a measuring stick for both teams. That being said, I bet Arkansas under their win total before the season at 5.5, and win or lose this weekend, not a bet I feel extremely confident in, given what we've seen from this team offensively and even along the defensive line.
All right, two quick things before you go. In the MyBookie.ag chat room, Keith always wants us to ask you for an off-the-radar game. He said you hit your last one. You weren't able to join us Friday in our special time, but he said you hit your last one 2 Fridays ago. Do you have an off-the-radar game for Keith?
I do. We're going to go to the Mountain West, and it'll be in the college football hotbed that is San Jose, California, and we're going to take the Nevada Wolfpack plus the 7 against San Jose State. You look at this Nevada team, and they had a grueling early portion of the schedule, crisscrossing the country twice, making a trip to Statesboro to take on, Georgia Southern, and then having to fly to Minneapolis, where they just had nothing left in the tank for a physical Big Ten team. They've now had 2 weeks to kind of rest and recover a little bit. They should have a rushing edge and an edge on the defensive side of the ball. Kenny Amatololo deserves a ton of credit. He's done a tremendous job so far at San Jose State, one of the tougher places in the country to win. And while the Spartans may be the better team, I just can't get to this on my number. I'm more in line with Nevada being a 4.5-point underdog in this game, so I'm more than happy to take the full touchdown with the Wolfpack with both teams rested.
Well, off the radar, I mean, that doesn't even make my TV sheet either side, front or back.
You didn't even know it's on TV?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's actually televised. You may have to watch it on the Mountain Network direct feed and stream it. Dunaway might be the only way to try and get that one.
Like I've even got the massive FCS showdown of North Dakota State 2:30 ESPN Plus, which is a great football game, but yours doesn't even make the sheet. But if it's a winner, it's worth watching.
That's right. That's right. You'll find a winner. Before you go, your pick to click in Talladega is?
It's a race. Honestly, guys, I don't bet given the unpredictable nature of all of it. But when we try and figure out if there is a little bit of betting value on the board, I think if you can find a racing team to win, I would look to try and have a little bit of exposure to Team Penske. I think you'll get good performances out of Ryan Blaney, who won this race here last year, Austin Cindric, and Joey Logano. So Team Penske as the team to win the race, if you can find that number at about 3.5 to 1 or greater, small bet, one of the tougher tracks to bet, and that's why we all love Talladega. But Dunaway, as far as the North Dakota State-North Dakota game, you got to pick on the game with the Bison laying 14.5 in that spot in Fargo?
I'm going to take North Dakota to cover, and I don't need the points. North Dakota wins the game outright at North Dakota State.
Look at you buying into a proud hockey program only fitting that the NHL season starts in earnest about 90 minutes from now. I know you guys are extremely excited to watch the season opener from Czechia in Prague between the Sabres and Devils.
Yeah. Hey, and by the way, I'm all over the Sabres in that one too. So if you want to play that, hey, let me tell you who wins on Sunday at Talladega.
I'm more than happy to hear. If you got a winner for a super speedway, I'm happy to listen and write this down. So go slowly for me, Dunaway.
Here we go. I'll say it so you can hear it in the back. They're pulling out the July race Daytona restrictor plate for Dale Jr., and they're handing it to Bubba, and he's going to win this weekend at Talladega because of Michael Jordan's lawsuit. You can't sue about the competitiveness of how competitive NASCAR is if your guy goes out and wins on Sunday. So Bubba wins on Sunday.
That'd be one hell of a storyline and something I wouldn't put past NASCAR. As we've seen it before at Daytona, the biggest storyline seems to always end up on the pole. And speaking of which, we actually had a great interview with NASCAR reporter Jeff Gluck, who I'm sure NASCAR fans know all too well, about the off-track situation and how it could impact the sport going forward. So encourage folks getting ready for Talladega, driving out to the Super Speedway, to listen to the Stay Green podcast along with all of our college football and NFL content.
Stay Green podcast is the name of that. BetTheBoardPodcast.com is where you find all Fuhrman's games. Fuhrman, thank you, man. Have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure, gents. Best of luck at the window this weekend.
You too, buddy. Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. TrueTV/Max for that Nevada San Jose State game if you want to find it.
And I left it off. Our friends at CPAP will never let you take any time off from sleep. They've got the best CPAP Plus, the best equipment, the most modern equipment. It can change your life.
Yeah, if you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust from guys that are actually CPAP users themselves, the O'Neill brothers, visit CPAP Plus. You can Google CPAP Plus or just stop into one of those 3 convenient locations. Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. New customers, special deal for the next round viewer and listener. You're going to get a $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, a CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by CPAP Plus where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, ready for you with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. If you're getting good sleep, you might as well get good everything in life, guys, as you get a little bit older. And that's where our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama comes in. At UCA, they've got 35 urologists, 16 locations across Alabama. So you need to find the one that's nearest you. UrologyCentersAlabama.com to find that location near you, or you can call them 205-930-0920 to make that appointment. They treat all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones. They'll take care of you. If it's time for the vasectomy, they'll do it for you too. LT, in fact, was telling a vasectomy story yesterday.
I was, always just jovial, and everybody's laughing, rolling around, talking vasectomies.
Right at the table yesterday, but the word vasectomy came out. I was like, oh, here we go.
That's right.
So go see our friends at UCA. Okay, we're getting to 4 downs in this segment right here, LT. So we're going to break down some games. And then in our next segment, we'll get to our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 and our headlines. So all that coming up as we're working on a different clock today. But our friends at Slice brings you the 4 downs. LT, tell us about the great folks at Slice.
Yeah, 5 locations for you for lunch or dinner. The original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, the newest location right there in Edgewood. Get in for whether it's lunch or dinner. Pick up a couple of pies. Right there at one of those great locations of Slice. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
I had one last night, in fact. I got it on the way home to watch the Bucks. I got the wedge salad, and then I went with half of the hot mama, half of the spicy Hawaiian.
Oh, so half and half.
Half and half.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's a good combo right there.
You gave me the excitement of Herb Street when Corso gets the sentence out. So half and half? Oh, way to go.
Larry puts his arm around him.
Yeah. So half and half. It says right here you had the half and half. That's good. Yeah. Let's do first down.
First down.
Which undefeated has better chance of surviving Saturday? Rutgers at Nebraska or Duke at Tech?
Well, I think Rutgers at Nebraska is going to be a very low-scoring game. So in a game like that, a critical turnover, scoop and score, pick 6, can be the only touchdown of the game or one of the few touchdowns of the game. So as much as I want Nebraska to win this game and think Nebraska will win this game, I would probably say that's the better chance of the upset, or the better chance staying undefeated and an upset.
Here's what scares me. If Rutgers wins this game, they're going to be in the Big Ten championship game.
Oh, no.
Because
have you looked at their schedule?
Listen to the teams they don't play. They don't play Ohio State. They don't play Michigan. They don't play Penn State.
Who gave them the schedule?
They don't play Oregon, and they don't play Indiana. I mean, it's not even like they're in the Big Ten.
Scott's showing you. So after Nebraska, they've got 2 home games, Wisconsin, UCLA. They're at USC, but even if you drop that one, Minnesota at Maryland, hosting Illinois at Michigan State. There are losable games at the end there, but Lance, there are a lot of winnable games.
I think
too.
Rutgers got a great shot this weekend. I would say it is Rutgers beating Nebraska. I don't see, Duke so lucky to get to overtime, beat Northwestern on the road, coming back against a fourth quarter comeback against UConn. They were down 20-0 to North Carolina. This is not a good Duke team. I think Georgia Tech runs them tomorrow night.
I don't know how the tiebreaker would work. Them and Penn State could both finish with a 1 loss there, and I guess Oregon could too. Yep. You would just have to wonder how the tiebreaker works for them.
I don't know either. Maybe they go highest ranked. I don't know. It's crazy.
I mean, if you think Ohio State goes undefeated, Dunaway, Oregon probably has 1 loss, and I mean Penn State could end up with that 1 loss. I mean that's a mess.
How do you say Kyle's last name? The running back for Rutgers, Montague?
Oh yeah, good luck.
147 yards a game. He's averaging. That kid's good. I love the coaches, Coach Rule, Coach Sat there in Nebraska. So I won't tell you out loud how I feel about this game.
Well, it was my sneaky good game. Nebraska wins.
Just did.
Nebraska wins.
I did not. LT.
No, they will. You can't read Dunaway because he could be saying that. He's like, I don't want to say they're going to lose, or I don't want to say they're going to win because it's a landmine.
Yeah, exactly. Can't
Second.
read it. If I don't say it out loud, Tyler, it doesn't count.
Yep.
Second down.
Which team leaving their time zone is more at risk of getting upset? USC in Minneapolis against Minnesota, or Miami going to Berkeley to take on Cal?
So I've obviously talked about this Miami-Cal game all year long, or all summer long, and I explained to you yesterday why I backed off of it a little bit just because I think Miami got their wake-up call. The USC-Minnesota number, like when you see USC and Minnesota, you don't expect it to be a single-digit point spread, but they're only a 9-point favorite on the road. Actually, a smaller number than Miami at Cal.
Yep.
I think it's USC, Lance. I hate to tell you about your Trojans there. It may make you feel better about your Trojans.
I mean, look, I had them in the upset alert. I think Minnesota's going to give them all they want.
Both teams win this game, in my opinion, USC and Miami. And I love the breakout of Jacoby Lane this past week for USC. But Miami's got to get the turnovers in. And I just saw if you're familiar with Hot to Go Chapel Roan, I just saw a great song remade of OTTTOGO, Jaden Ott to Go. He's had back problems, but Ott can be the difference.
I don't even know what you're speaking a foreign language right now.
They're doing a song about Jaden Ott?
I mean, if you're ever on TikTok, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's usually Hot to Go, but they made it OTTTOGO, Ott to Go. I like Cal to beat Miami.
Third down.
And Keith says it's the MyBookie.ag chat room. You remember the Catholics versus the convicts?
That was he's killing my headline here.
Oh, okay. I won't bring it up then. Don't look
it's
at
okay.
Don't look at Keith. No. Yours will be better. Don't look at
mine's
Keith.
going to be different,
Okay.
but that is perfect.
Yeah, that's good. Rolling in that direction.
Third down. So better chance of upsetting the SEC. South Carolina over Ole Miss or Arkansas over Tennessee?
Oh. I don't think Dunaway Ole Miss is going to lose back-to-back games. I also don't think Arkansas is going to beat Tennessee, so I'm going to have to say Ole Miss is the better chance of getting upset, though, in most four downs questions. The actual answer is neither happens.
Yeah. I mean,
and I could see both of these.
You could see both happening?
I could,
Oh, my gosh.
I don't see either one of them, so maybe both happen because he's on a heater. South Carolina is still 3-1, and they got wins over Kentucky and LSU. That's a pretty good little resume for South Carolina.
Oh, it is. Yeah, much better than we thought South Carolina would be.
Yeah. And rarely can your offense be so good that you're held to 300 yards under your normal average of your offense, but that's what happened to Ole Miss last week against Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, when you never have the ball, you can't move the ball.
And real quick, Arkansas's kicking themselves. They could have easily beaten Oklahoma State. Should have won that game. Could have easily beaten A&M.
Could have easily lost to Auburn too, though.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, they did end up winning that game by double digits. But talking to people in the offseason, Bobby Petrino will steal a game or two for Arkansas, and you just wonder, this is one of those situations.
By the way, 34th in the ESPN Power Rankings is Arkansas. Tougher team than you would imagine what they are.
I agree.
At least on paper. So if one of them happens, I think it'll be Ole Miss, that they just haven't played anybody and they're not as good as we thought, but I don't think either happens.
Fourth down.
More total touchdowns Saturday. Jalen Milroe in Nashville against Vanderbilt or Carson Beck at home against Auburn?
I think Milroe may run a little bit less, but even though if it's not a design run, once you get down in the red zone, or even if you're trying to limit design runs, once you get down in the red zone, sometimes the hand gets kind of forced there. Field shrinks a little bit. Not as easy to find an open receiver. You pull it down and run. I think I'm going to go Milroe at Vandy. Now, Fuhrman just told you he thinks Vandy makes it a better game against Bama than Auburn does against Georgia. Line is the same right now at mybookie.ag, 22.5. I think I'm going to go Milroe in this question, though.
I will go Milroe as well.
It's a tough one, though.
Yeah. I think I am going to lean. I think Alabama's going to try to prove something on the ground with jam and justice, so I'm gonna take the other side and take back.
Yeah, put that on tape for him right there. That's 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tell us about Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations, I should say, created by the late Jeff Pajaya. His legacy continues to be celebrated by his brothers Jason and Chris. Get into one of those 5 locations for lunch or dinner. Pick some pizza up this weekend. You're gonna love it. It is Slice.
All right, dead wood time. Have you messed up yet at all today? I've got
very likely.
It's on me today.
Okay.
First off, I started off by celebrating show number 800. Tyler Forster, what should you do? You should never celebrate something before it actually happens.
That's right.
So I landmined the start of the show. What'd you say, Tyler?
I said you shouldn't.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah. It's going to be a great day on the boat.
Gilligan, push us away.
Unsinkable the Titanic here.
Yes.
Have you really done a deep dive to see if any relatives were on that?
I have not.
I can't.
The other one, you should. The other one is.
You know what I was about to say.
The other one is I had LSU, South Carolina beating LSU, but LSU won that game in the end, right?
They did. It was a tight game, and there was a controversial call where South Carolina wins if they don't get that call. But yes, LSU won the game.
So in my head, I thought South Carolina outplayed LSU. Not the case. LSU won that game. So those are my 2 dead woods today on the show, brought to you by our friends at Gray's Tree Service.
Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. Had the guys out from Gray's, John Mark, and that great staff out a couple of months ago, extracting 4 trees from my property. Gray's maintains a fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right, prevent damage to your home. You've probably seen them rolling around town. Hurricane season is here. Supposed to be the worst in years. Don't wait to get tree work done. Protect your house and family today. Call 205-281-6100. Trusted by nearly every golf course in town of the Birmingham Zoo. No competition. You can scan that QR code or just visit graystree.com.
And our friends at NASCAR, we want to remind you one more time what a great weekend is waiting on you, starting this afternoon with the Truck Series race, and then rolling through the weekend, Xfinity race, and then the Cup guys, all playoff races, 3 playoff races, 1 every day, and then the nighttime festivities, which includes the Buckendega Rodeo and the Jake Owen concert. Yellowwood 500 on Sunday, everything on the boulevard, it's Talladega. You know what we're talking about, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Brown and I in our Laugh Olympics split 1-1. I threw the pass into the flag stand, and then Brown outrolled the tire for me on the track. You can see both of those.
Have you seen this yet, Lance? Oh, yeah, we showed it yesterday, yeah.
The tire roll, you got me by just a few inches.
I did. I had an Earnhardt tire. That's what it turned out. We found out later it was a tire from the 3-car. You're not going to beat a 3-car at Talladega, Dunaway. What were you thinking?
I know. I had one from Dick Trickle probably or something as mine slowly came to an end. You had one other thing you wanted to add, Brian.
Well, I was just going to say he said what over in the mybookie.ag chat room says Kirby's out to make a point. Beck struggled a little bit in the first half. He's out to make a point against Auburn. He's pissed off Kirby. He's going to make a point with Beck. Do you think that's the case? I mean,
you got to get his confidence up before he goes and plays Texas.
Yeah, and I do think that he did build confidence, obviously, in that second half, but the way it ended with the pick, yeah, I think they go out there and it's all about Beck taking shots.
Yeah, I forget who it was on the in the mybookie.ag chat room, but they made a good point. All the national folks keep acting like Georgia won this game. Georgia still has better odds to win the national championship. Georgia, still better odds to win the SEC championship. Georgia only drops down to number 5. If Alabama at number 4 had lost that game, they'd probably be sitting somewhere around 9, 10, 11 right now. Bigger drop for them.
Yeah.
So Georgia won a lot of respect for how they fought back in that game.
I would push back on Fuhrman a little bit. He said they won 3 quarters, and I don't think Todd, was necessarily saying, 3 quarters. Well, I think he was just kind of figure of speech there. They might have won the 4th quarter. Alabama won the 1st quarter. The middle 2 were played relatively close. I mean, I I don't come into that game. You can make Georgia a favorite on a neutral site against Alabama, and I'm sure the odds makers would, Lance. I don't think Fuhrman's alone in that. But at some point, you've got to stop and say they never beat Alabama. And why is that? And I don't know that anybody knows the why, but they never beat Alabama. Georgia doesn't.
1-6 under Kirby Smart there. When we come back, we'll do our headlines and our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3, which Brandon will get LT to tell you about the game you want to know about there, the Michigan game on the road there in prime time on NBC. We'll get to all that coming up as we roll on here. The show being brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop, the folks that I can't wait to go see them this weekend and get the steaks and get the great sandwiches that you can get for lunch every day.
Yeah, I got friends coming in town actually for the race on Sunday. They're going to be there tonight, tomorrow, watching football all day. So I'm going by the New York Butcher Shop later on today, picking up some of those smash burgers, whether it's the steak smash burgers, specialty items, incredible sides, a fantastic selection of great wines, and fine desserts, rare quality, well-done service. 2 locations, the original in Caba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get in, go see Jim and that great staff, the New York Butcher Shop.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Bryant Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Race. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
All All right, headlines first, and then we'll do nothing but football to the top of the hour in our pick 3. Headlines brought to you by our friends at McCurry Car and Truck Rental. They bring you the Spotlight Brownie.
They do, Jimmy D. McCurry is the place you rent from all over North Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest of Coleman, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. If you need that car, van, or truck, McCurry Van and Car Rental. McCurryRentals.com is the website. McCurryRentals.com. 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. Hit it, Tyler. It is the Spotlight time.
Yeah, give him a second here.
Spotlight time.
We'll get to it here in just a second.
Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
All right, headline time. LT, want to start us off here? Let's give Tyler a chance.
Yeah, just give me a minute.
I'm finishing it up right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was on me. A little delay.
Oh, we had to stop the presses for Lance. So we got breaking news.
Well, I had to get rid of the Coke versus woke.
If I
Why'd you get rid of that?
Well, I mean, it was a great title, but
let's come back to it later on if you're finishing something up. Let's go on to our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3, brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Tell us about them.
Great locations throughout Central Alabama. Stop in, wall-to-wall TVs. Birmingham's best sports bar for over 20 years. Great place to watch all the actions. NFL Sunday Ticket on Sunday as well. Get into one of those great locations of Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, Alabama Vandy. Let's start with that game there where Jalen Milroe's coming off almost 500 total yards of offense by himself, going against Diego Pavia. What does Pavia do against the Bama defense?
I don't know. You know, I think it is interesting that you heard Fuhrman has questions about this Alabama defense. I think it's more still on the backside. Everybody said coming into the season that was probably the unit that, if you were identifying one potential weakness in Carson Beck in the second half, looked like exposed them a little bit. But Pavia is not a guy that really is going to, take those shots. Not the most accurate quarterback in the world. He's just kind of a gritty quarterback, so he tries to, get those extra yards, extend drives with his legs. I just don't know how much success he can have against this defense, and I don't think Alabama's going to be flat in this spot.
I don't either. I've said that all weekend long. I think Alabama going on the road, number one, helps them not be flat. I think you're much better off playing a road game than a home game coming off a big win. If this were, again, an 11 a.m. home game, I think it'd be a sloppy Alabama team. They're on the road, and I just think the way that game ended, if Alabama had continued doing what they're doing and they beat like 42-14 beat Georgia, I'd be a lot more worried about Alabama than the way that game ended. That game, the way it ended, had to be a little bit of an alarm going off for Alabama. You can never lift, no matter who you're playing.
How different would we feel about Alabama if Alabama doesn't score? And, once Bell scores, if you don't get the Ryan Williams touchdown and Alabama ends up losing that game, how different do we feel about Alabama?
I think the discussion about the coaching staff would be very different right now because of how you could blow a 30-7 lead. The way you manage the clock, what you did at adjustments at halftime, I think it would look very different. By the way, Buffalo Wild Wings and my bookie on the pick 3 there. You go to nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. That's where you can play. Last week, over 90 winners, the most yet this season, over 90 winners going 3-0. 2-1's fine. It's good. It doesn't get a ball in the bucket, though. You got to go a perfect 3-0 against the spread there to get a ball in the bucket there. You can go play that at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. Auburn is a live dog at Georgia, according to some people. I don't know how you guys are going to play this. Carson Beck coming off 4 turnovers, but keep in mind, Peyton Thorne's the quarterback. That pick 6 late, but what some people aren't talking about, he got sacked 3 times in the last 2 possessions. They were able to light him up last week. Oklahoma, Georgia could do the same thing.
Well, they knew what they were,
no run game coming.
Yeah, I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing. Have you really heard somebody say Auburn's a potential live dog?
Playing inside the points?
Oh, well, no, a live dog would be
to win outright.
Winning outright.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I misuse it there.
No, Auburn has not beaten a top 5 team on the road since 2007. So this is uncharted territory for this Auburn team. 7 straight wins for Georgia over Auburn. I don't see any problem for the Bulldogs.
They just cannot win in Athens. They don't play well there of late. It has been a house of horrors for them. Kirby Smart has owned Auburn. This Auburn team cannot have a lot of confidence. It's just like everything you could stack against Auburn in this game is actually stacked against them. Any history you want to throw out there about this series, any mindset, anything. It's just all stacked against Auburn right now.
I do think it's interesting. Dunaway asked yesterday, is Auburn better this year than last year? The answer is probably yes. Is Georgia as good as they were last year? The answer is probably no. But for whatever reason, I felt last year that Auburn had a great chance going into that game to win the game.
And they darn near did.
Yeah, it's just something so different about this game being in Athens this year and just the way it sets up.
Location, right? That's what it's all about.
I mean, I do think it is. If this game were at Jordan-Hare, Georgia still wins the game, Lance, but I think it would be 10 to 13 points, maybe?
Yeah, be different. No
10
doubt.
to 13 points, Georgia wins. In Athens, I think Georgia covers the game. So it's much more than 10 or 13 points.
Michigan and Washington, another game in our pick 3 that you can go play, 6:30 on main NBC. Boy, these two have had so much turnover. They're so different than they were last year. I tend to lean toward Michigan in this game because they've had less turnover.
You're talking about turnovers?
No. Just both teams lost their coaches.
Okay.
So much of the personnel is different.
Yeah, but I think outside of Colston Loveland, I think Michigan's got 10 new starters on offense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of much the same. You know, the interesting thing, Washington's won 17 straight in Seattle, but as a home dog since 2013, they're 0-10 straight up and only 2-8 against the number. But Michigan traveling to the Mountain time zone or Pacific just the third time in the last 20 years. The first 2 times lost both games straight up and 0-2 against the number.
Yeah.
Was that Rose Bowls though? Were that our playoff games?
Possibly. This is their first road game. Speaking of, since November 18th in Columbus last year.
Yeah, I mean, when Washington, I think a lot of people were a little surprised when Washington was favored when this point spread came out, and that has only grown there at mybookie.ag. I didn't look this morning, but last time I looked, it was at 3.
It dipped down to 1.5.
Did it at 1.5? But it had gotten all the way up to 3 yesterday. So a lot of people think Washington's winning this game.
Top 20 offense, top 10 defense for Washington in that contest there. Another big game this weekend outside of the SEC is SMU and Louisville, 2 one-loss teams. Both teams think they shouldn't have lost the one game they lost. So many turnovers for Louisville against Notre Dame. And I just wonder, what is this Louisville team made of? I thought Georgia Tech was going to beat them. Has SMU solved their problems? They got 3 interceptions from DJU. Will that continue this week?
Yeah, I don't know if it continues on the interception front, but it looks like SMU is finally playing with confidence, and they've kind of settled into the ACC now. I think this will be a heck of a game. You know, it's, again, can SMU's offensive line hold up against Louisville? And, you know, this Louisville still has one of the better defenses going against that Rhett Lashley offense. It'll be a fun matchup.
Think about how long ago this felt. Do you know the last road game Louisville played? It was that game at Nevada on week 0.
Wow.
That feels like a year ago, right? And they were uneven.
You mean SMU?
SMU, I'm sorry. SMU, yes. They were uneven in that win. I mean, they almost lost that game at Nevada. That is the last road game SMU has played. Everything has been at home since then. So this is the first time in more than a month they will have to hit the road. And as far as ACC environments go, that's one of the tougher ones, I think, is Louisville.
Okay, a couple more games to get to here after LT tells us about our friends at Hillside Music and Barbecue right there. The folks that we fell in love with on a Bud Light game night, and now we go by there and eat all the time. They brought us food last week.
Oh, I had the pulled smoked chicken sandwich.
So good.
Oh, my gosh. And they had, I love my slaw mayonnaise based. Very creamy mayonnaise-based slaw, incredible sides. They've got happy hour 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Great selection of frozen drinks for the wife or girlfriend. And the TV layout is perfect. If you're looking for a place to watch Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, Vanderbilt, this is your place. Monday Night Football is a great place to watch there. They've got a tailgate menu during all of the games. John Holland, the chef there. It's a great family atmosphere, fantastic patio for this fall weather. Stop in, see the fine folks at Hillside, located right there in Vestavia off of Highway 31.
Yeah, and the kids run around. Also, Brownie, if you'll tell us about our friends at MyBookie, where all the betting lines we use on the show come from.
So I just looked it up. Lance is right. That Washington line, they're favored by 1.5 right now. Boy, I tell you what, in the mybookie.ag chat room, this is a great point I'd not really thought of. Curtis says, can you guys ever remember a game that features the 2 teams that played for the national title with less hype than this one?
No, exactly, because of all the turnover or
changes, all the change. Yeah, it's just wild. I mentioned with Fuhrman, you can right now at mybookie.ag find Alabama favored by 22.5 at Vanderbilt. You can find Auburn, that same number as an underdog, 22.5 underdog in Athens. I know we'll talk a lot of Tennessee, Arkansas. Tennessee still holding as a 13.5-point favorite there at Arkansas. Listen, if you want to play any of those games or any of the college football or Major League Baseball over the weekend, mybookie.ag is the place to go. Code next round at mybookie.ag. Code next round. Now, when you use code next round, here's what happens. You're going to make an initial deposit to play with. They are going to take that deposit and double it. So you got free money to play with right away at mybookie.ag. Double your deposit bonus when you use code next round. mybookie.ag, code next round. mybookie.ag, code next round.
Speaking of Tennessee and Arkansas, the Hogs coming off that 21-17 loss to A&M. They still run the ball really well. We asked Fuhrman about it, but you guys give me your thoughts on unbeaten Tennessee at Arkansas.
I just don't see it with Arkansas. Tennessee's defense is so good against everybody they've played. I don't know where you would say this Arkansas offense ranks on offenses they face. Lance, maybe it's the best one. I mean, are they a better offense than Oklahoma? Yes.
Yes.
Are they better in offense than
Yes.
NC State? Yes. What's the best offense they face?
Yeah, and kind of weird. Arkansas's won 3 straight against Tennessee. Last loss to the Vols back in 2007. This Tennessee team leading the nation in points per game at 54, point differential at 47. The defense is only allowing 177 yards. I would be shocked if Arkansas doesn't go over that number. They've outscored their opponents by 188 through 4 games. There is only 2 teams in SEC history that have outscored opponents by 200-plus in 5 games, both Alabama teams, 1979 and 2018. So this is kind of rare air for the way Tennessee is dominating opponents, but I do believe Arkansas can keep this a little closer than people think.
Marcel Reed expected to be the starter according to those close to Texas A&M as they play host to Missouri. There's been very few, I told this to Fuhrman, very few explosive plays from Missouri in their air attack. They got one from Luther Burden, I think it was in overtime, on the first play of overtime in their squeaky win over Vandy. Is this Missouri's breakout game, or is Mike Elko's defense ready for the challenge?
4 straight wins for Mike Elko. And I think the thing to look at, one of the reasons Jimbo is no longer there is he couldn't win one-possession games. They lost 8 straight one-possession games to end Jimbo Fisher's tenure. And you look at Elko, he's already 2-0 in one-possession games. I fully expect this to be a one-possession game. I think Texas A&M is peaking at the right time, but Missouri's coming off a bye. So really, could this be the breakout where they kind of struggled and looked a little flat against BC and the same against Vanderbilt? I wish this game was 2:30 or 6. I would feel so much better about A&M just having it a little later in the day at Kyle Field, but I lean A&M in this game.
They're actually 12th in the conference, A&M is, in total defense. They're giving up 330 a game, which is not what you expect out of Mike Elko.
Surprising number.
That's a big number, 330 a game. I mean, the only teams worse than them are Vandy, LSU, Florida, and State, and in terms of yards per game. So, Missouri, that offense most of the time has played pretty well this year once they've gotten Luther Burden going.
Over in the mybookie.ag chat room, Andy says Andy Bernard goes down against the Aggies. If you're an Office fan, Eli Drinkwitz and Andy Bernard, a little resemblance there.
They got some stuff in common.
All right. Tell us about our friends at HydroLive, and then we'll get to our headlines, LT.
HydroLive, great place to go. B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, IV therapy, all under one roof. And now weight loss therapy from our friends at HydroLive. If you're tired of feeling stuck in your weight loss goals, discover a personalized approach that works with HydroLive Therapy's weight loss therapy. HydroLive combines hydration therapy with targeted weight loss treatments. They provide a comprehensive approach to weight management. There are 2 locations in Birmingham, the original in Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, also Tuscaloosa. Very important. Mention the next round. You're going to get 20% off all these great services. Also, ask about the memberships. Basically, recoup the membership fee in one visit with the free IV every single month. HydroLife Therapy, open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Book your appointment online. HydroLifeTherapy.com. Walk-ins welcome as well.
McCurry brings us the spotlight. Let's do it again.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
Tell us about McCurry one more time, Brownie.
McCurry Van and Car Rental, Jimmy Dunaway. That's where you go to rent cars. They can be tough to find right now, but not at McCurry. You can depend on them. All kinds of trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest in Coleman, and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, 256-559-1003, or McCurryRentals.com.
All right, so I'll start us off here, the middle one there, Tyler. We do this to predict the games for the weekend. The Hottie Toddy news is bringing you this. Life in the pass lane. Kiffin Gators rumors heat up. Struggling or maybe lost on the road, and then everyone starts talking about Lane Kiffin. If they go to the playoffs, he can't take this Florida job. If they don't go to the playoffs, timing could work out that he could be the coach of the Florida Gators. Now, the question becomes, if he doesn't go to the playoffs with this team, why would you want him?
Yeah, do you want him as a coach?
And does he really want to leave Oxford to become Florida's head coach? You know, Florida has become very dysfunctional since Urban Meyer. Say what you want. I think Lane's in a pretty good situation right here. It is interesting, if we go back 2 years ago, how they completely imploded when Lane was flirting with Auburn.
I will say this. You say if they make the playoffs, he can't take the job. If he's my guy and I'm Florida, I'll wait. If I have to sacrifice half a recruiting class or whatever, I'll wait.
It'll be a lot of the recruiting class. But let's do the second one here. Canes Stone Bears. The guy who looks high probably is high. At Berkeley, I'm told the students, they don't only light up on 420 in the afternoon or April 20th, that they are They indulge pregame, during the game. There's a nice smell inside the stadium.
Oh, I can only imagine going to a game in Berkeley where, you know, if you walk the streets of Vegas or any major city now, look, I've talked about my affinity for the edible. I do think it's interesting how mainstream everything's got. I heard Dan Graziani this morning on ESPN, and they were like, how could you pick the Cowboys over the Steelers? And he's like, dude, Tuesday is like my most busy, crazy day, and that's when we have to have our expert picks in. And he was like, and it was so nuts this Tuesday when I got home, I was on that edible, and that's when I took the Cowboys.
And real quickly, can you just squeeze back the headline to get it off the banner at the bottom real quick? NBC Peacock, in the air more than Michigan. Peacocks don't fly.
They don't fly. No.
Oh, okay. So you're saying Michigan runs a lot.
Yeah,
I got you. Yes.
Michigan doesn't run a lot. I'm fact checking me here. I'm right? Peacocks don't fly?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, they do not.
They do not fly. Okay.
Like we just take Tyler's word for that. We assume Tyler knows everything about
those
peacocks.
wings are just for style.
Forrester, do peacocks fly?
Jim, I think I've stumbled across some video evidence.
Oh no! Wait a minute. Oh,
peacocks fly?
Wait a minute.
Oh, I see the peacocks in the tree here.
Well, it's hidden. It's camouflage.
Yep.
That's AI.
It's not flying. Forrester, it's not flying.
Is it going to fly, Scott?
Just wait.
Oh, no. God, this is from Pentagon Cinemas, apparently.
Pentagon Cinemas?
Yeah.
Oh, here it goes. Well, that's spectacular.
Wasn't that majestic?
That was majestic.
That's pretty shaky. That's like Alex Orji throwing the football.
Yes.
I think the comparison is very much there.
I don't know if he's so much flying as he's just trying to stay off the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call it flying.
Sort of what Michigan's trying to do.
Yeah.
Those are my headlines. Brownie is next, if you'll pull his up.
So I am going to go to that same, this is the state newspaper in Columbia, South Carolina.
I thought that was LT's first.
Lane Kiffin is unfamiliar with Cox. Unfamiliar with the Cox is the headline. Lane Kiffin has to admit after the game he watched too little film after Ole Miss falls to South Carolina. He just didn't watch no film. He's unfamiliar with Cox, Lance.
He would dominate Oregon State.
Yeah. Absolutely he would.
Wouldn't even have to watch film.
They're on page 2. After the Georgia loss, Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze vows to only blame the opponent this time. Not blaming his team after a loss to Georgia. We're just going to blame the opponent this time. And then on page 3, the Missouri kicker blames late loss on misjudging the win based on his coach's hair. So he's looking at Drinkwitz's hair. I thought the win was blown that way.
We got into that one yesterday. McCurry, Van, and Car Rental, the headlines, now LTs.
Apparently I've thrown us off with this, but Berkeley loves its pronouns. Canes learn if, when equals never as long as Cristobal coaches.
I love that.
Why did you go away from woke versus Coke? That is so good. But that is excellent, too.
I love that. If, when equals never.
Now, we do learn that if, when aren't pronouns, but that doesn't really matter.
No, it's a headline. Yeah. It's supposed to be funny.
And apparently Hooked on Phonics declares bankruptcy.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah.
Is that legitimate?
No, they didn't really.
That is basically part of the newspaper clip there.
Yeah.
And that's McCurry, Van and Car Rental, the headlines there. If you're looking for a great way to tailgate tonight at a high school football game, or maybe you want to get it to take home, our friends at Champy's Chicken is the way to go. They bring you this final hour of the show coming up. Champy's Chicken, Sterling and the crew, as we hit 11 o'clock. That means Sterling right now is putting that key in the door. He's going...
Open her up.
Opens up that front door and he says, hey, come on in for the best Southern fried chicken out there. I've been brining this stuff overnight in some secret secret recipes, secret spices, and he cooks it to order. It's the best fried chicken you'll ever taste. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales and hand-cut chicken fingers. It's our friends at Champy's, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Back in a moment.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Raid, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
I'm here with my good friend John Lanyas of Lanyas Furniture to tell you about special values on some super comfortable seating. What you got, John?
Lance, every year we stock up on great comfort items like Lazy Boy recliners and sofas so that our customers can be ready for fall and football. This year is no different. We've made special purchases that will deliver great value to Next Round listeners and give them the most comfortable seat in the house. And as always, we've got the best prices in the state on Lazy Boy and the best selection anywhere.
That's awesome. We all know from years of shopping with you guys that Lanyas Furniture is the home for Lazy Boy value.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Final hour of the show as we get ready for week 6 of college football and a really fun slate tonight, including especially if Michigan State can make it interesting like they used to do when Smith was at Oregon State. He took lesser talent and made the old Civil War a better football game. So we get Michigan State and Oregon going tonight, 8 o'clock on Main Fox. Syracuse and UNLV, 8 o'clock on FS1. And don't forget the early slate has Jack State playing at that cute stadium, Kennesaw State, tonight. That look at what's happening, no baseball tonight. But one note from baseball, Reds are hiring former Barons skipper, Red Sox World Series winner, and recent Guardian head coach, Terry Francona. Tito is 65 years old now. Terry's the new skipper now of the Cincinnati Reds. He left the Guardians. Was it last year during the season he left, or was it 2 years ago? Last year?
That's when I thought he was just completely done.
I did too, and here's what he's had done since last year, mid-season when he left. He had toe surgery. He had a hip replacement. He had a shoulder replacement, and he had a double hernia surgery.
$6 million man.
That's completely new.
The guy was walking around hurting so bad while he was coaching. He's had all that done in his 1.5 year away from baseball, and now he's coming back to try to resurrect the Reds. And, with Pete Rose passing this week, I was mentioning to Forrester that used to be an iconic franchise from, the 60s into the early 90s, and they are so forgotten now.
Oh,
that
look,
that Reds uniform, you just never see it.
I saw it, and I forgot when it was the last time the Reds have won a postseason series, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And, that was, in the 70s they were great. They had that moment in the early 90s where they won a championship against the A's in 1990. But, they've just kind of disappeared.
And that's one of those uniforms that, and
De La Cruz is one of the most exciting players in baseball.
It's a good-looking uniform.
Yeah.
You just don't get to see them in action. They're rarely on TV.
So I'm confirming this right now. Everybody he's managed, he's taken to the playoffs, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So, this guy, actually, he never took Philadelphia to the playoffs. I'm surprised to learn that just now. I always thought, I thought he took the Phillies to the playoffs.
He made them relevant again.
I guess he was never above 500 with them. So
really,
yeah,
that is shocking.
I remember him being better in Philadelphia.
Was he with Philly?
97 through 2000, and
that is shocking.
Yeah, his best year they were 77 and 85 and third in the division. I remembered him doing better than that at Philadelphia.
Me too.
Now at Boston, he was fantastic. Obviously, won 2 World Series.
Yep.
And then constantly had Cleveland in the playoffs, but they, could not advance to the World Series.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, they did advance that one time. Yeah, lost to the Cubs.
Speaking of the World Series, there's only one major league team that's never played in the World Series. You know who it is?
One major league team that has never played in the World Series is, I know who this is.
They didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, Seattle Mariners.
Seattle Mariners, the only one. Even the Tampa Bay Rays have gone, so no Seattle.
Yeah, our man Brock loves his Mariners, man.
Yep. Never been.
Can't get there.
Well, they showed some promise this year, though.
Yep, they did.
Yeah. I don't know. You go back to what you had with Griffey Jr. and freaking Edward Martinez and Jay Buhner. Those were really good teams.
Well, Brooks says Dusty Baker had the Reds on a few playoff runs. Lou Piniella was the guy that won the championship in 1990.
Yep.
He took over the roster that Pete Rose helped put together as a player manager. He said Watt hated the Big Red Machine, was an A's fan back in the 70s, but pulling for Tito now. Rusty, RoboCop leading Cincy to the World Series next year.
Yes, he can't go through the metal detector at the game.
Toe, hip, shoulder, and double hernia surgeries all in the offseason. He's a young 65 there for the Reds. All right, back to football we go. This part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Milo's, that burger bar ready for the weekend.
Oh, I could absolutely crush a Milo's burger right now. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely.
Well, check with Tyler in about 52 minutes. He's usually heading there.
Yeah, lunchtime is here. I did tell our friends, I went to an event with them on Monday, and I was like, our man Tyler is it by your Milo's. I guess do you go to the Cabo Heights one right here?
No, I go to the Inverness one.
Did you know our house? Did you know the Cabo Heights one?
You know the Cabo
existed?
Heights is closer.
It's probably closer.
I do, but whenever I go to a restaurant back that way, it always takes me longer to get back to the studio.
Hey, whatever works for you.
Don't change it up, Tyler.
That is the great thing. There are convenient locations all over for lunch or dinner. But don't forget, if you're looking to throw a really good tailgate, you're having a party over at the house, how about a burger bar with 100 Milo's burgers, which can now be easily done through Milo's Catering. Catering options range from individualized box lunches ideal for work and team gatherings to customized build-your-own burger bars. Huge hit at any tailgate. For the next round listener and viewer right now, Milo's offering $10 off for first-time catering orders this fall. Enter the code catering10, all caps. That's catering10, all caps, when you order Milo's Catering through the Milo's mobile app. To learn more about Milo's catering options, please visit miloshamburgers.com/catering. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering. Stay saucy.
You know a line that has slowly crept up over the week is Tulane at UAB.
Oh, it's massive. It's 18 now, isn't
yeah,
it?
18, 17.5 at mybookie.ag. You can find it 18.
That's embarrassing.
I agree completely.
Can I just add one more?
Didn't it open at like 13.5? Am I right about that?
Around 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I didn't give it to play. It's not on our sheet,
Yeah.
but it's from a local. It's the podcast that actually is done by Mark Ingram, the AD, and Trent Dilfer together.
Yeah.
and they do this podcast.
Well, that could get awkward.
And
I think it will.
It's called the Inferno Podcast, and several people sent this to me yesterday. And it's Trent Dilfer and Mark Ingram, the AD. And Dilfer starts raving about, man, if you're an elite volleyball player and you want to go somewhere and play volleyball, Louisville is the place you need to go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, 100%. When his AD's in there.
And then Mark Ingram says, or you could come to UAB. Da, da, da. He goes, I love our volleyball coaches here, Trent Dilfer says.
Yeah.
I love our volleyball coach here. But at Louisville, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what this guy's doing.
I don't either. Like,
is he trying to get fired?
What is his buyout?
I don't know, but as people were pointing out on social media, in 3
Can't be
days,
much.
he's basically said, look, our football program ain't Alabama. Everybody settle down. And now is saying, if you really want to be in an elite volleyball, don't come to UAB. Go to Louisville. I mean, well, I don't know what he's doing.
Damn, how did they start talking about women's volleyball?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Is that how bad UAB football has gotten?
Let's talk anything but football.
I don't know. But that was the discussion there. Blazer Nation on Twitter. Trent Dilfer is the highest paid UAB employee, and in less than 3 days, he has compared saying we're not Alabama and this thing right here, insanity.
Either way, here it is. UAB is a 17.5 point underdog, or 18 in some places. You get it 17.5 if you want a slight deal there. At mybookie.ag, code next round when you sign on to mybookie.ag. Code next round. They're going to double that initial deposit. Double deposit bonus at mybookie.ag. Code next round. And you can play with that money right away. Win once with it. It is yours and yours forever at mybookie.ag. Keep playing with it. Cash it out. Whatever you want to do. Code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. mybookie.ag. Real quick, I was just looking ahead this morning at the Major League Baseball numbers. Detroit, a road favorite at Cleveland. Cleveland, a home favorite over Detroit. I'm sorry.
Are you talking about series price?
No,
or game
I'm
one?
talking about game one. Did you see him pop up? He said, wait a minute. What's
second,
happening here? What did I miss?
He's going to jump all over Cleveland.
Philadelphia, a fairly big home favorite over the Mets. Yankees, a really big home favorite over the Royals.
What is the series price on Philadelphia?
I don't have
Mets?
the series price.
Okay.
I can
'Cause
find
I was
it.
going to say, I mean, they played 13 games, obviously, this year, and it was 6-7 in Philly's favor. So, like, the way the Mets are playing right now, that is a series to watch.
Interesting. All right, series to watch. So there you go. Those are the prices there at mybookie.ag. Code next round.
Forster and Tyler are working to give us this audio. You got it ready to go? As you see on the screen, it's from the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Okay, it's the official podcast of UAB Athletics.
It's right there in the title, Jim.
Yeah, and this is a clip from it.
Well titled, the way this thing's going, by the way.
The Inferno?
Yeah.
Here's Mark Ingram, who's the second voice you'll hear, if I remember correctly. He's the athletic director. He's the boss. And Trent Dilfer, who's the football coach.
Stuff. Like if you want to play big time college football, go to Louisville. You'll have the best experience ever. They're great people. They're great coaches.
Or
they're great
UAB.
culture builders.
You can come to UAB.
You're right. Different recruiting. I will say this, they're pulling from different buckets, Mark. It's like us.
But we'd still like to have
we would. We would. I really like our volleyball coaches. But
So I mean, that's just a complete.
like if you want to play big,
Play it again.
No awareness.
Play it again.
You know, you take let's just say that your daughter's dating somebody and you've got an 18-year-old at your dinner table and they say things that are kind of out of whack.
Yeah.
You kind of bite your tongue because the awareness, they don't have world experience.
Yeah.
How is this guy saying this?
Or me at the dinner table when I was dating Maggie and Mr. Hahn maybe talking about somebody else that she should be dating. Instead of creepy old me.
Boy, you remember that Kyle guy.
I really like that Kyle guy. He was a nice young man. He's going to go somewhere in life. Probably not going to be doing a podcast someday. Probably going to be a banker. You should marry him, Maggie.
I mean, I'm looking at their roster to see if there's a Dilfer on the roster. I don't get. And I'm sure if you listen to the whole podcast, you get a little more context of why in the world they're talking about Louisville volleyball.
Hit it again for me, Tyler.
big time college football, go to Louisville. You'll have the best experience ever. They're great people. They're great coaches. They're
Or
great
UAB.
culture builders.
You can come to UAB.
You're right. Different recruiting. I will say this, they're pulling from different buckets, Mark. It's like us.
But we'd still like to have
We would. I really like our volleyball coaches, but
different buckets.
Wait,
that's the second part of it.
Well, let me ask you this. Did he say just like us referring to football? Did you catch that?
Yes, 100%. I mean, that's the unheard part. Everybody's
do it again because I want to hear that part.
Everybody's focusing on the Louisville button, but he says they're pulling from different buckets just like us. Yeah, I mean, that's 100%.
Yeah, it's
what
like
he
he's
says.
almost like, how am I in this? How do I have this shitty job when I should have an incredible job? I mean, that's the way he's kind of framing this thing.
Yeah.
Hit it again.
like if you want to play big time college football, go to Louisville. You'll have the best experience ever. They're great people. They're great coaches.
Or
they're great
UAB.
culture builders.
You can come to UAB.
You're right. Different recruiting. I will say this, they're pulling from different buckets, Mark. It's like us.
But we'd still like to have
We would. I really like our volleyball coaches, but
Yeah. I don't know what this guy's doing. I mean, should we expect anything different from a guy that's never been anything but a high school football coach? Like, he didn't have to.
Well, I would be humbled. I'd be like, hey, look, man, you know what?
No.
We're going to get this right. I have sucked. We have lost 3 consecutive games.
Yeah.
We're getting blown out, but I'm taking the accountability here. And I know it would be difficult for him to say he's learning on the job.
Yeah, but that's football.
I would just be more humbled.
He is a former fantastic ESPN sports analyst. He was on ESPN for years, and he was fantastic. He understands how television works.
I get
He
that.
understands how
Yeah.
sound bites work. And he's great with words. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the words he's using. He doesn't see them as hurtful to the UAB people.
My point in bringing up the high school is he doesn't have to think, though they were a private high school that could recruit, as a high school coach, he doesn't have to think about, I'm in this with Andy Kennedy and whoever the volleyball coach is and the softball coach. They've got to recruit too. So I need to always be selling my school, right? Because they've got to recruit too. And I am one of the most prominent faces in my school. You don't have to think about that when you're the coach at Lipscomb Academy. That doesn't matter. So maybe, I mean, you would think you'd have more self-awareness than this.
Especially with his great broadcasting background. Inverness Country Club brings you part of the show, and we'll jump back into the actual games on the
I'm
field
sure
this
Dilfer's
weekend.
played it. It's one of the Birmingham tracks. Look, they've got memberships that fit everyone.
There seems to be an underlying current about Dilfer and the golf course.
That golf membership. Well, I mean, he's got, what is his handicap? He's basically a scratch.
He's a scratch. He
So
can
if you want
play.
to find out where he plays, he's not afraid to log in to keep that handicap going.
All you got to do is check the old Gen app, and you'll see us.
I don't know how good the round was at Inverness. You like a 3 or 4 right now?
I'm 4 or 5.
What did you play at Inverness? Any idea?
Do you remember last time I played there? I shot I'll have to go back and look at it.
You were playing when I was there with you. You were struggling on a couple holes because of me, because I was not having a
it
good
was
day.
not your fault at all.
Well, hey, it's just an incredible track. Also, they're expanding the driving range right now. Maybe you relocated to retired. Inverness, great place to meet others in the community. Great place to network. Childcare also a big plus. Maybe you and your wife on a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid and go have yourself a day on the court or course. Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. Best days happen there. Take a tour of this unbelievable club. Call Aaron today, 205-991-8608. Tell them the next round sent you, or iccalabama.com.
I was going to look it up real quick, Brownie, since he talks golf all the time, to see if it pops up on my screen here.
Who, Dilfer's handicap? Oh, I'll look it up. All you got to do, pull up the...
I've got the USGA thing
You've
up
got
here,
the handicap up?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. I didn't capitalize.
But is that the way it works? Again,
Dilfer.
Like, I haven't played a round of golf in 5 years, but when I used to play, if you're serious about it and you want to have this handicap, I mean, you've got to like...
He's a plus. He's a 0.1, so he's a scratch right now.
0.1.
Yeah.
But he also, I mean, if you're doing this consistently, you put in the
you
round
log
you
your
play,
scores.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
so
if
you're
going to get a genuine handicap, you log every 18 you play.
So you can keep up with who's playing and where they're
Well,
playing.
yeah, and it's good for, like, if I've got to play Trent Dilfer, I see his handicap right here. I can enter mine, and it tells me, based on the course we're playing, how many strokes he has to get me.
I will tell you, he has not entered a score since July of 2024.
I mean, isn't that about when fall camp started?
August is a pretty important month for him.
Yeah, he played
1, 2, 3,
a lot of rounds.
4, only 4 in July.
Yeah, I play more than he does.
1, 2,
June.
3, 4, 5,
he went
6,
to town in
7,
June.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
16 rounds in June?
Well, that's all I see. That's the last
that's
of
the
the
last
last
I can go
20
to.
he entered. 16 of them were in June. It could have been more than that.
Yeah. I like golf too.
Hey, whatever, The thing is, like, if you're a sales guy and your sales are dipping and struggling and you're playing a lot of golf, that's a problem. If you're a sales and you're killing it in sales and you're playing a lot of golf, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Same with any occupation out there.
As Jay Baswell says, his actual handicap is conducting interviews, apparently. He's not very good at that.
His actual handicap is supporting UAB athletics.
I mean,
yeah, and by the way, I mean, we've only met Trent a couple of times. I don't know Trent personally.
Nice.
He's been very nice. I'm just saying, I don't believe that UAB would be in this spot if Bill Clark was still the head coach. I don't think they would be in this spot if Brian Vincent was the head coach.
It'd be hard to think they are. I mean, the guy has beaten 3 FBS teams in a year and a half.
He was quarterback of my team, my Buccaneers. I love me some Trent Dilfer. Okay, here's some over-unders I want to ask you guys about for the games coming up this weekend involving a variety of teams, so bear with me here, okay? Jackson Dart passing yards, 284.5 at MyBookie, 284.5. Over-under Jackson Dart this weekend at 284.5.
I would play the over. You heard Fuhrman talk about how his Heisman hit, it took from 6-1, where how short the odds were, to 20-1 now with Jackson Dart. And I still think Jackson Dart's a hell of a quarterback. He's got a ton of experience, so one off game where they lose isn't going to throw him off.
Brownie Trey Harris, part of that Ole Miss team, over under 93.5.
He was on the availability report, but it went from questionable to probable. But you still wonder, is he a little gimpy in this game?
Yeah, but that's one of those things. If you bet that prop and he doesn't play, then
it's a loser.
It's just void.
Oh, is it?
If he doesn't start the game.
If he takes a snap, as long as he doesn't play in the game.
Yeah. I would say, what was the number?
93.5.
Oh, if he plays, I'm taking the over.
I mean, he's been pretty consistent with that.
Up,
that's a lower number that you get for Trey Harris.
And I think that's why, is because of the injury report right now.
Okay, Will Rogers, and for those that don't know, quarterback's Washington.
Yep.
Over under 228.5.
I would play the over. Again, he's going to get an elite defense. I like Washington in this spot, but I think it's going to be more Coleman running the football. But I think Rogers will get some opportunities. I mean, I don't feel great about that, but I would lean over.
A value opportunity possibly here in Ollie Gordon, over under 81.5. Where do you go, Brownie, first?
Why do you say value opportunity?
Because, I mean, you would have never gotten Ollie Gordon at 81.5 last year.
I've seen a month of football, and they're not running him enough, Lance.
Yeah. And West Virginia at home, you would think that this would be a good spot for Ollie Gordon, but you just haven't seen it. And so you just wonder if Ollie Gordon's going to be a 70, 75-yard-a-game kind of guy. I kind of like West Virginia in this spot. Oklahoma State has been one of the biggest disappointments in all of college football.
They have been. And, I mean, how much of it do you pin on Mike Gundy?
A lot. When you've got veterans coming back, you give him a lot of credit last year when they were able to turn this thing around with Ollie Gordon, but you've got Alan Bowman, a veteran quarterback that has regressed. You've got Brennan Presley, a really good wide receiver. You've got skill, and Mike Gundy is known for his offense, and the offense hasn't popped.
Now, he's got the second most carries in the Big 12. I'm a little surprised at that number, Gordon does, because it seems like he's been underutilized, but 88 carries, only Taj Brooks at Texas Tech has more.
Part of our 4 downs earlier, Carson Beck, if I said 274.5 passing, over under.
I would take the over. Yeah, I would take the over.
I would probably go over on that too.
Our buddy Peyton Thorne, 181.5 against Georgia. Over under there. 181.5. Now we've all been
just passing yards, not total
yards. Yeah, we've been all griping about needing to see more Jarquez Hunter,
I would, and I think you will, but I would take the over here because I think Auburn's going to be playing from behind.
Good point.
And Lambert Smith, I mean, that guy he's 70 yards one play. I mean, and the same with Cam Coleman. So you hit 1 or 2, that's a really, really low number.
Yeah, it is a low number, and if you're going to beat Georgia, maybe it's just because I saw Alabama do it. Beating their secondary may be the place to do it.
Well,
right?
but Alabama's the only team that has done that. Now, the only teams they've played are Clemson, who looked awful in that first game, Tennessee Tech, and Kentucky, who has been hamstrung at quarterback a lot. But Alabama put 374 and 2 touchdowns on them on that secondary. So that was by far and away their worst game. Statistically, I mean, that's the outlier for them.
One more big thing to get to in this segment before we take our next break after LT tells us about our friends at Odie's. Tell us about Odie's.
Odie's Tavern, great place to go all weekend long. Live music tonight and tomorrow night. Incredible food from Rodney Davis every single day at Odie's. The award-winning wings, great burgers, sandwiches, like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, those huge styrofoam cups with the Odie's famous cocktails in those as well. Stop into one of those 2 great locations for lunch, for dinner, for live music, just to hang out on that patio. Odie's Tavern, the original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Get in and see Will Haver and that great staff.
Yeah, and our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. You may be on your way to a high school football game tonight. Want to pick up some chicken? Maybe you're heading on the road up to Nashville, need some tailgate food. Go ahead and check at champyschicken.com or call Sterling at the Alabaster location. He's been there over 10 years. get it to go, take it home like my parents do, like I do, or you can just call ahead and take it to the stadium with you. It's champy'schicken.com. All the great Southern fried food, including that brined overnight cooked to order fried chicken, is champy'schicken.com. One other football note here. Broncos is it a Sunday game for them? On Sunday, wearing their 1977 throwback uniforms.
Oh, I like those.
They're iconic. They're so good looking. The players, Patrick Surtain, Sutton, the wide receiver, both of them says, I wish this was our permanent uniform. I wish this was our permanent uniform.
It's almost like any time a team goes to their throwback, the players say that, You know
who controls it, though? The NFL.
Yeah, and the owners. Stephen Ross is apparently the only guy that likes Miami's current uniform.
Well, it's all about the merchandise, though, because you can bring these alternative jerseys. You have an opportunity to sell those. You've got your mainstream. I mean, the Rams, they roll out 4 different combinations.
They really, you're the Oregon of the NFL, basically. The Falcons should never wear one other than what they wore last night.
I didn't like here's the Broncos, by the way, this weekend. The 77 Broncos.
I think of Carl Mecklenburg. You remember old Carl Mecklenburg?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a great Bronco player.
I think he was number 77 or number 75.
Yeah.
Who was the one of the first guys to die from using steroids? Lyle
Alzado.
Yeah. I think of him when I see that uniform. John Elway,
I think more Alzado with the Raiders, though.
Yeah,
that's a good-looking helmet. Oh, boy, they should go back to that.
Is that not
uniform.
a better logo?
Yes.
I mean, how is that not your logo?
I don't know. So many of those 80s logos I love. The Seahawks, the Broncos, the Dolphins.
The Falcons one last night, and it may have been from an era that was it 79, 80 when they had the hostages in Iran, because they had that yellow stripe. Did y'all see the yellow stripe? Very thin yellow line.
I didn't even notice that.
Going down the middle of their helmet last night. Did you see it, Forrester? I mean, it's your team.
Yeah, that's part of it. I'm pulling up a.
Yeah, I didn't know why. If it was from that period of time when we were putting yellow stripes to remember the hostages.
It was the same uniform they wore Sunday though, right? So it just had the yellow stripe.
I think it had the yellow stripe then too.
It had it on Sunday too?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that at all, Scott.
You see it a little bit in that picture right there.
Yeah.
It's the stripe between the red and the white was a little yellow stripe.
Interesting.
And I don't remember that ever.
I don't either.
Ever.
That's not a Falcons color. I don't know why you would have a yellow stripe there. I see it now.
Steve
Now I
Atwater.
will never be able to unsee it.
Bobby Humphrey.
Steve Atwater was a stud.
Yeah.
You remember Atwater's hit on Christian Okoye?
Yeah, he was thought to be the hardest hitter in the NFL then, and he went up against the Nigerian Nightmare, and everybody was like, yeah, he definitely is the hardest hitter.
Yeah. So that uniform note there, Devontae Adams, by the way, if you asked him and somebody did, he wants the New York Jets position. He wants to play with the Jets, he said last night.
Well, make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Jets would like to have Devontae Adams as well.
Before Forrester shows us the worst helmet this weekend, one more note.
Oh, you better not.
Yeah, it is. It's
you
the worst
better
helmet.
not.
It's the worst
you
helmet.
You better not. This is a great helmet.
Steph Curry, by the way, he's playing this year for $55.8 million. Just to put it in perspective, Steph's going to make $55.8 million this year. Our buddy Charles Barkley made $37.5 million his career.
I know.
Yeah.
Different world now.
Isn't that a shame?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think Barkley's fine, but for some of those other guys, when you look at like a Robert Horry, how much? And not that Robert Horry was a superstar, but still, Robert Horry in his role in today's NBA wouldn't be a max guy, but he's a guy that would make $25 million a year.
This is every sport. Like Tua is making more than Dan Marino ever made in 1 year. Tua is making more than Marino ever made. Golf is the king of it. I mean, Nicholas and Palmer, you look at what those guys made versus what Tiger made.
Michael Jordan, the best of all time. His last 2 years with the Bulls, where he made $30 and $33 million. Before that, Steph Curry, his first 12 years with the Bulls and all those championships, Steph would have made more money in 1 year than Michael Jordan made in his first 12 years in Chicago. Crazy money. Here's the worst uniform.
Don't you do it.
The weekend.
Don't you do it. It's a great helmet.
Western Kentucky.
Lance, this is a great helmet.
You're kidding, right?
No, I love it.
That is awful.
What's awful about it? It's the thing they're most known for.
Like
is
if
their
Nickelodeon
mascot.
went from their coverage when they do a game or two a year, and they were like, we're going to have a Nickelodeon football team, that would be their logo.
I can't believe you guys don't like these.
I can't either, Scotty. It's what they're most known for. They're most known for that mascot. Why would you not embrace it?
It should be illegal. I'm not
That's
going to be
awesome.
illegal.
That's one of the best uniforms I've ever seen. I love the helmets.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to tell which way is he running. I mean, his eyes are looking right at me, but he's running to the left. He's running to the right.
Yeah. I can't even think of what Western Kentucky's normal helmet looks like now.
It's the hand with the
that's a good one
the
too.
scarf.
Yeah. No, I like
the flag
this
or the rag.
I saw
or
it. I
something.
can't believe you don't like this.
Can't stand it.
I don't like it either.
We're turning it into too much of a joke. It's a man's game.
Oh, my goodness.
Good boy. It's Western Kentucky.
Like, if you just had a WK on that helmet, I don't mind the all reds.
I mean,
it's 2 eyeballs.
It's what they're most known for. When you think Western Kentucky, what do you think?
I think a big red.
I think a big red. It's all they're known for.
Yeah, I hope they lose by 100. Who are they playing?
Jim?
I don't know. It's not on my sheet.
It's so bad it's not on your sheet. Lance, do you know?
Western Kentucky, I do not know.
I'll pull it up.
Royal Payne brings up a good point. Does that make the ear hole in the helmet the mouth?
Kind of, yeah. I don't know if it was designed that way, but I think he's right.
Yeah, it is. It's perfectly located. It's a good call.
Yeah.
Elite.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's Western. It's not like Penn State or Alabama's changing. It's Western Kentucky.
I mean,
I hate to sound like Trent Dilfer, Jim, but they're not Alabama at Western Kentucky.
For sure, if you will tell me Auburn should wear an orange jersey one time, I will give you.
Never.
Like that. Okay, see,
never.
Well, but Auburn's a tradition-rich program.
I know, but orange is part of that tradition, like the Notre Dame green.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, I can't even find a Western Kentucky. They must be playing an FCS school. I can't find a point spread.
Yeah, I dumped it. It's not on my sheet this week.
Just because of that?
All right. When trash. By the way, Jace, our buddy Jace, is listening to us out on the West Coast. I don't know if his wife Molly is with him or not.
Okay.
But Jace is on his way. He's on his way from Seattle down to Eugene to watch the Oregon game this weekend, tonight, in fact.
Boy, I've always wanted to go to a game there. I don't know about you guys.
Jason and Molly get out. They go to those games.
A lot of travel there for that one. But, I mean, if I would like to go to one there.
4 hours from Seattle to Eugene. Ooh. It includes a speed train between Seattle and Portland.
Well, I do want to ask Jace what the flight was like, because I do have an opportunity to go in the last weekend of October. USC plays in Husky Stadium on Saturday, and the Rams play in Lumen on Sunday. I'm thinking, because I've never been, and I had it scheduled one time, and it was the same situation. Yeah. So I'm taking a hard look at that, but I just want to know how tough that travel is to Seattle.
Okay, Zach is telling me to back off on whether or not Molly's on the trip or not, and saying that Jace is out there.
It did feel uncomfortable. I'm just going to tell you, when you started bringing in other family members.
Because if she is listening and she wanted to go and she didn't go, I've been in that situation before.
Yeah, my bad.
It's already a tough weekend where you check in and you try to check in before you've had too much to drink. I'm good, man. We're just hanging out.
My bad, Jace. Jace, I sent him when he and his wife were getting married. I'm not going to give the hashtag in the air. Remember, everyone had a hashtag for their wedding.
Yeah.
And his wife's named Molly. I seen him a pretty good one. We still laugh about that today. All right, when we come back,
we got reference.
I'll say it in the break. Gutter Cap bringing you this part of the show. Tell us about Gutter.
Hey, keep the gutters clean and free-flowing. The answer is Gutter Cap. Chris Stewart will come out, give you an absolutely free estimate. You've worked all week. The last thing you want to do is get the dangerous ladder out. You get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. You're no good to the wife or kids. Right now, 45% off the retail price. Chris Stewart in business 20-plus years right now. Call 205-823-2212. Again, 45% off the retail price. Make sure you tell him the next round sent you. For more information, guttercapbirmingham.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Race. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Final segment of the show today. Hey, our friends at the Floribama still rocking, even though it's football season, you're back in school and stuff, man. All off season when it comes to summer trips. Sometimes the best time to get to the Floribama is this time of year. Perfect weather.
Well, and even better, across the street. I said this, when we go to the Bama, we just park the car and typically don't go anywhere else because you've got so many different options. Because not only do you have the Floribama that, you can just go to at any time during the day and have an incredible time, but right across the street where we did our last show there, the Old River Grill. It is your waterfront sports bar, 30-plus TVs. We actually watched Week 0. We watched Georgia Tech upset Florida State at the Old River Grill with Uncle Steve and the gang. Draft beer, game day menu, pull up in your boat or drive by your car across from the world's famous Floribama Old River Grill, your one-stop shop for all things game day. For more information, FloribamaOldRiverGrill.com. That is one flex I don't think I'm ever going to have is pulling my boat up to the Old River Grill and going to watch football.
Yep.
You don't think so?
Captain Taylor.
I do not think so.
Geithner in there.
Well, let me say
like
this.
Steamboat Willie.
What about Steamboat Willie? Don't give nothing but a piss about the ocean.
How about McAfee using that last week? Did you see it?
Oh, absolutely. What about maybe not you pulling it up, but maybe it's your boat and somebody's pulling it up for you?
Boy, I think that you've even got more money if you've got a captain, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I've kind of resigned to the fact that money is not in my future, but that's okay.
In my dream last night, I was on your boat.
So you had a dream you were in an RV with the family, and you were on my boat. Who else was on my boat? Just speak freely.
You were there.
Speak freely.
You were there. Maddie, the girlfriend, was there.
Yep.
I was there.
Trent Dover.
Obviously, Maggie had something to do. She was not there.
That was going to be my shocker if Maggie was out there.
I know it's a dream.
No, what's funny is we ran into her at Crab Island or whatever, right?
Yeah. Brown was there with
All right.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
The guys in the back room, T and EG were there. And Ariana Grande was playing on the front deck.
Oh, he's screwed with you now.
Don't think Maddie would have liked that.
Little tiny Ariana Grande.
Little
tiny. Tiny.
She is a little bitty.
A little bitty there. All right, trash today, and then we'll do our final Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 and give you our plays for the week. But right now, it's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Captain, hit it.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? This is awful. It's still March. How many days in March?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
For everyone in the chat room, Diddy was not on the boat. No Diddy. Diddy, not on the boat.
Yeah, we tie an anchor to Diddy and drop him over. Our trash is brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right, the mortgage experts. Partnered with us from day one. Love those guys. If you have any questions about your mortgage situation, no cost or obligation to reach out. 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. A woman discovered her house had been broken into by a burglar who hung out her washing, put her shopping away, and cooked a meal on her stove. Damien, I'm not even going to try.
Seems like a nice guy.
The last name.
You think so? I mean, he's clean cut for a burglar.
Yeah, 36 years old, jailed 22 months on Thursday for carrying out the unusual burglary. On July 16th, the woman said she was left too scared to stay in her own home after returning from work to find items had been moved in the garden and a recycling bin had been emptied. Now, the burglar left a note saying, quote, "Don't worry, be happy, eat up and scratch."
Scratch?
This is across the pond. I'm sure it's some kind of lingo for something.
I'm gonna
Prosecutor
look that up.
Alice Sykes said a meal had been cooked using items from the woman's cupboard. Shopping had been taken from a bag and placed in the fridge, which had also been rearranged. Empty bottle of wine had been placed in a rack, having been drunk, and the floor had been cleaned with a mop and a bucket left out.
Well, let me ask you, how good looking is she age wise? Is this a play that he's trying to become her mate?
Well, I would just say this dude obviously doesn't have a job because he wouldn't have time to break into somebody's flat and rearrange it. Now, the victim also said a bottle of red wine had been left out next to a glass and a bottle opener, and there was a bowl of candy on the living room table.
Yeah.
Second burglary took place at another home when the male homeowner received a CCTV alert on his phone, which showed this dude walking on his driveway. The defendant went on to use the shower in a summer house to wash and clean his clothes. Food and drink had also been consumed, and the hot tub had also been left dirty. I don't know what dirty means, but there you go.
I'm guessing trash around it?
Or just had been used.
Yeah, but boy, you're pretty dirty if you use it one time, and I can tell you've used it.
Yeah,
you got a lot on you there.
Doesn't look like it looks like somebody I know.
I'm with you, Dunaway. Lance is normally so good at this.
Yeah. He does look familiar.
So and so and so and so had a baby.
Can I just say one phrase? Paul, it's Alabama. Is there a chance? Is it Legend? Does he look like that Legend guy from Paul Feinbaum? A little bit.
Oh, I have no earthly idea.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know when I've seen that guy.
Yeah.
Is he still on?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, I think I caught him on like some Saturday morning pregame that feeds into the 11 o'clock game.
Yeah.
But I think Legend.
What channel is that on?
It was on ABC 30, your station.
Oh, that's a great station, Jim. What are you talking about?
He killed somebody, right?
Oh, I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know.
No, I think he did.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It was always an entertaining caller.
Well, listen, if 3340 lets me on,
yeah,
that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah.
This is a coach in the NFL, and it's slipping me right now.
Sean McVay.
No.
NFL coach?
Yeah, I think it's a coordinator. I'll come back to it.
Chat was saying that it looked like Conor McGregor or Taysom Hill from the Saints.
Taysom Hill. There's a little Taysom Hill in there. Yeah.
So, like countless other people in Japan, 23-year-old Karen Ryo walked into a convenience store to do some shopping. The incident occurred shortly before 8 p.m., slightly south of Tokyo. While Ryo was at the store, a man attempted to shoplift a six-pack of beer, and when he attempted to flee, a clerk confronted him. When the two became entangled near the store's exit, noticing the altercation, Ryo stepped in after ensnaring the man's legs, brought him to the ground, and put him in a headlock.
Oh.
Now, the man attempted to break free by biting Ryo on the forearm. Ryo's grip held fast, though, and she kept the man subdued until the police were summoned and arrived on the scene, where he was placed under arrest. How embarrassing is this for this dude?
It is. Is this a reenactment or is this actual video? Do you know?
She reenacted it for the cops and
For the cops?
news crew.
Yeah,
So
that's our Tinder date.
Yeah. So this girl's in a store, and oh boy, he tries to do something. She pins him down, and he can't get up.
My algorithms are pretty amazing right now on Twitter, and one of them is like, they F around and find out. One of them's crazy fights. But this one dude snatches a girl's purse at a bus stop. Another girl pulls out her gun and shoots him. And then puts her foot on his back and just holds him down. So the cops come. And,
where'd she shoot him?
Like in the side.
In the side?
Yeah, and
then
he just
holds him down on the
drops, and
ground?
then she puts his foot just to degrade him and make him stay on the ground until the cops get there.
I got to tell you, man, if I knock a store over and a girl's able to pin me down for long enough for the cops to get there, I'm about to say, please send me to prison, but boy, I don't want that store to get on prison either. Do you?
No.
Juice Lee, pretty talented here, though. She did a good job.
Okay, I got tangled up in this story when I was pre-reading, but I think this is one of those that is complete bullshit, and I think you were really going to have a disgust for Uber after this story. Is that fair, or did I not read it deep enough?
You will be disgusted with Uber, but it is 100% true.
No, when you say BS, you're not saying it's not true.
No,
you're just saying
it's just another. We had a similar story when it came to Disney, and this is just pathetic.
Okay,
and it's
right.
going to make. And I don't know what the answer to this is. Common sense should be the answer.
Could it be Lyft?
A married New Jersey couple that was in a severe accident during an Uber ride can't sue the company because their daughter had agreed to arbitration when they accepted the terms and service for separate Uber Eats, a court has ruled. Now, John McGinty and Georgia McGinty, seen right there.
Okay,
We're sitting.
just break that first part down. So the daughter clicked on something when she was ordering Uber Eats that made them, when they were riding in a separate Uber in a major accident where they couldn't make a claim. Am I right?
John McGinty and Georgia McGinty sitting in the backseat of an Uber ride 2022 of March when the driver sped through a red light and was T-boned by another car, resulting in, quote, serious physical, psychological, and financial damages.
So he ran the red light.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Now, Georgia sustained several fractures throughout her body, including cervical, lumbar, spine, rib fractures, other physical injuries that required surgeries and other procedures. Meanwhile, John has little use of his left wrist and a fractured sternum. They tried taking Uber to court for a jury trial, but an appellate court recently ruled that they can't because they previously agreed to Uber's updated terms and conditions requiring arbitration, which are the same in the Uber Eats and Uber Ride app.
Oh.
This is complete bullshit.
Yeah. No, I
mean, common sense has got to prevail here, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to do moving forward? I can't get Uber Eats because in case I'm in a major accident, I'm not protected
and
anymore.
I don't know what laws you can pass to prevent stuff like this. Like, I don't know what the law has to say, but
Uber,
this does seem very un-American.
Uber should have enough. They should have an insurance policy that covers me if I'm riding and I'm injured in their vehicle. That should be part of the cost of me riding in the Uber.
I almost, and it could have been death in an Uber. And I was in Nashville, and my Uber guy, and he apologized profusely, but he ran a stop sign just flying, and a car missed the T-bone on the backside just by a couple of feet. And I was just like, oh my God, like you almost killed us. And he was like, man, I'm so sorry. And it's no telling what the guy was doing, but he completely ran the stop sign. And I've ordered Uber Eats, so if I'm dead, so like, my kids can't get financial compensation from Uber because I clicked that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I would say this. It's a good time to remind you that it's just random people that you're riding with. It's not like they're professionals.
You're right.
And I forget about that when they pick me up in an Uber.
And I don't know about you, sometimes I forget to buckle up. Like if we're all like...
100%.
When we were all in Dallas and we're loading up one of these minivans and I get all the way in the back, I don't buckle up.
Yeah, I generally don't in the back seat either.
Especially if we're just going 9, 10, 20 blocks. I don't know why I went from 9 to 10 to 20. 9, 10,
20 blocks
20.
one way. Hey, you have a picture of the final story? This is going to be disgusting. But an Italian woman's massive mouth muscle earned her a Guinness World Record when her tongue was confirmed to have the largest circumference, larger than a ping pong ball.
Oh, that's a big tongue.
Mouth muscle, huh?
That's a big tongue.
I don't know how she eats. Like, how does she
God, I can't even look at it.
She's got to be flexing it somehow.
Can you flex your tongue?
Bobbing for apples is out of the question, right?
I'm not going to show you.
Yeah, I don't think
there are certain things you can't get in your mouth.
I mean, that tongue, what is it? What is it?
I mean, it looks like a brain, a small brain.
It looks like a fig.
I mean, this is mine.
So this is Ambra Kalina, 37 years old, told Guinness World Records she decided to apply for the record after seeing photos of Dante Barnes, the former record holder of the male version of the longest tongue circumference record. Kalina's tongue was measured 3 times by a doctor, and the average 5.44 inches became the official measurement. Now, the male version is some Belgian dude, Sasha Feiner, 6.69. So this dude's tongue is almost an inch and a half bigger than hers. I don't know if we got a picture of his, but
yeah, I would kind of like. Oh, that's his.
No,
yeah, but what's happening here? I mean, I don't understand what's happening here.
Now, look, I know you would. It would affect the way you talk, but is it not worth having some kind of procedure to actually get a lot of that tongue out?
I'd kind of like to see. I'm not like judging how good looking she is. I'd just like to see her without her tongue stuck out, just to see what she looks like in a normal situation. You know what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying. I'm trying to find a story I sent LT. Maybe we'll do it next week.
Aaron in the mybookie.ag chat room says, I can puff my tongue up like that, he says.
Oh, tell him to send us a picture.
All right, send us a picture.
Yeah, we will not make fun of you or judge you like we've done this lady right here.
Puff it up.
Well, he's saying puff it up like she is. Like, I know what Dunaway's saying about flexing your tongue. Like, so this is my tongue stuck out, and then I can do that.
I do want to know, like, if that's normal. Like, if you're on a first date with her, you're like, that to me, that's kind of a deal breaker.
Oh,
it sucks for her, but
but I don't.
Yeah, 100%. That's Trash Today brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, they are your mortgage experts. Whether you're looking for your first home or your final home, you need a zero down, a big down payment. They can hook you up. Advice on all fronts from our friends, the mortgage experts at Mortgage Right, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
Yes, that's right. Got to affect your sleep as well.
No doubt.
Definitely will need to go see CPAP Plus. Hey, Storm Restoration Roofing, man, as you go into the weekend, just think about just go ahead and calling Greg and get a little peace of mind next week of getting a free no-cost roof inspection. Call Greg from Pell City up, 205-542-3531, 542-3531. When's the last time you had that roof inspected? If it's been a while, time to get it inspected. If it just hasn't been since the summer storms, you may want to get Greg up there to take a look at the shingles or whatever, because one shingle can cause a major problem on your roof. So Greg will do it for free for you. Absolutely free, no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. And he handles storm repairs and roof replacements, and basically just a good dude that can do almost anything around your roof or house. Check him out right there. Greg from Pell City at Facebook, 205-542-3531 for Storm Restoration Roofing.
Aaron follows up with the mybookie.ag chat room, says he can't send it now because he's in queue for Oasis tickets.
I understand.
Aren't they? But they're not doing America, right? Oasis is only.
They are.
Yeah, they
are.
are.
Oh, are they? I thought they were only across the pond.
But it's like maybe 5 or 6 shows.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was four shows.
It will be amazing if they actually make it through the entire tour, though.
Yeah,
they don't quite get along.
I'm expecting a lot of refunds.
By the insurance.
Hey, it's time to get back to our Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. It's brought to you by our great folks at Buffalo Wild Wings. Tell us about the great locations, LT, and then we will we'll hear the song for the first time today.
There are 11 Central Alabama locations, including that Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia, #1 sports bar in Birmingham for over 20 years, 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads. Stop in for Saturday action, NFL Sunday ticket. It's all going on at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Rockstar's wonderful voice and contribution to this segment forever and ever. It's the Pick 3 song.
Pick three, it's time for the pick three. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
And as always, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's get it. You can play right now, as Scott is showing you. That's a live look. That's a live look at our webpage. You got Roback on there, you got my booking Hill Service, and also the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. Just click on that like Scott just did, and you put that information in there to enter. Then you go down and you pick your games. You pick 3 of them. If you win all 3, you got a ball in the bucket for the grand prize from Buffalo Wild Wings and MyBookie and everybody at the end of the year. We appreciate you guys so much for playing. 90-plus winners last week. MyBookie.ag to play the games, and also our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. That's the website. It's the only place you can play it, nextroundlive.com. How about an updated standings? Where are we? I think LT took the big jump last week.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, he didn't? Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. It was the week before when you were 2-1. 7-8 for me. I don't think any of us have been 3-0 yet. 5-10, 5-10.
I don't even remember who I had last week.
I always forget by Saturday.
Remember, we did it on the road at the Rabbit Hole last week and sort of threw them together, which meant I had my best week yet.
Didn't take time to think about it, did you?
I did have to think about it. 7-8, 5-10, 5-10. Got to get better with our pick three. Let's start near the bottom with our buddy Ryan Brown over there. Brownie, what do you have in the pick three?
I was trying to find a stat real quick. Can I come back to my stat if I can find it?
You go ahead and do that. I'll just do mine.
Oh, you're going to do it?
It's
Okay.
not a big deal. I'm taking three
I got
favorites.
A good stat with mine.
I'm taking Georgia minus 22.5. I think the Dogs will have a mat on for an Auburn team that is really struggling turning the football over. I do like Washington in the rematch of the national championship game. I was going to bring this up. Brown did bring it up earlier. I do think Washington is getting better and better. They cannot have the self-inflicted mistakes that they had last Friday against Rutgers, but I like Washington, and Georgia Tech ends Duke's 5-0 perfect season.
If I saw this stat right with Michigan, because I'm going Washington as well, minus the 1.5, it is the first time in the history of the poll era, if I saw this right, and follow me on this, a defending national champion is still ranked in the top 10 and is a road dog to an unranked team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I started trying to think of who else could it have been, and I think that stat's got to be right. The defending national champion is still ranked in the top 10 and is a road dog against an unranked team. Defending national champion.
Yeah,
you're talking about really good teams.
When's the last time?
I think it was the first time in the poll era.
Okay, so
I believe that.
Yeah.
So Auburn at Clemson, when did that happen? And was that 2011 or 2012? I thought it was 2011. Auburn at Clemson.
But Auburn would still have to be a top 10 team, and Clemson would have to be unranked. I don't think Clemson was unranked.
Yeah,
then.
Clemson wasn't unranked.
Yeah,
that would be
that's the key to the stat there.
Yeah.
Stanford plus 8.5. Virginia Tech, I'm not sure they're good enough to give anybody 8.5 points on the road. And coming off what they came off of, I think that play is going to beat them twice. So I'd like Stanford plus 8.5. I mentioned Washington minus the 1.5. And I'm just going to stick with my summer gut. My summer gut, Jim, told me take Cal plus the 10.5. I'm going to take Cal plus the 10.5.
Back before we had technical issues to start show number 800 today, I got here early and was able to draw logos.
Oh, awesome. Good ones, too.
I am all over.
Georgia G looks like my dog wrote it.
Well, I had it perfectly done until I saw the puffed up tongue, and now this logo puffed up too.
Okay.
Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee for me. I'm playing power this weekend. It's
football.
It's a power weekend, Keith. Minus 22.5 Georgia. Ohio State hasn't been tested against Iowa. I think everyone just assumes Iowa is going to slow down that Ohio State offense. I'm going to tell you this. I think the Bucs defense is good, the Ohio State defense, and they're going to get some short fields for that offense. Ohio State minus 18.5. And then I like the Tennessee Volunteers minus 13.5 on the road. Not trying to landmine one of my favorite teams, Tennessee. Not at all, Jim. That's my – not at all, Jim. That's my pick three, Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee. You can play two right there at nextroundlive.com. If you're interested, some of you like to fade Dunaway. On my short list, I like Virginia -1 as they play host to Boston College. I think
you're pulling a web. How deep are we going to go on this?
I'm just saying.
I looked at 8 of them.
I always make a sheet. When
oh my gosh, how many are on there?
1, 2, I think 8.
8. And you picked 3 out of those 8?
You cannot get these at jimmylocks.com. And I picked 3 out of these 8. But the BC quarterback is
Castellanos.
Yeah. Virginia only giving a 1 against the BC quarterback.
They figured it out. I mean, they were getting whipped by Western Kentucky, and BC ended up figuring it out, and they come back and they win that game. But they are different without Castellanos.
You talked a little bit about Pitt and North Carolina earlier. The mindset, Fuhrman mentioned them. I like Pitt -2.5 on the road with Eli Holstein, former 5-star Alabama backup. Texas A&M and Missouri, we were talking about that earlier on. I'm going to go with Elko's defense. And as I say that, you guys pointed out that Elko's defense has sucked this year.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say sucked, but it hasn't been what you always think of in Elko's defense. I mean, 330 yards a game isn't extraordinary in college football.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it puts you in the middle of the pack in the conference. And I don't know that you would say Texas A&M's played an extremely tough schedule. They've played Notre Dame, who's good. Bowling Green, who might should have beat them, or it was a tight game. Florida, who's a terrible offense. I can't remember their other game in there. There was one other
Arkansas.
game. Yeah, Arkansas.
21-17.
Yeah, I mean, so they've played some good teams. I don't know if they've played anybody great.
I like Ole Miss on the road -8 at South Carolina. And here's the one that's going to make you guys happy. You both have Washington. I love me some Michigan.
Do you now?
I love me some Michigan in this game.
Can't fly like that peacock, though.
Yeah.
You can't throw like that peacock flies.
That's got to make you happy that both of you are on Washington, and on my sheet I had Michigan. It's got to make that one feel like a winner for you.
One of the things with Washington is like our buddy Verno always said. Vinny Verno used to say, if it doesn't make sense, it makes sense. When that line first came out, I really thought Michigan would be favored in that game.
Well, I thought Michigan would be a 2-point favorite just based on brand and the fact that they're ranked and Washington isn't. But if you've watched both of these teams, they're pretty equivalent. And I just lean that Jed Fish is going to get this team better and better, and you know exactly what they're doing offensively, and that's just running the football.
And see, I feel like that, but about Michigan, that eventually they're going to get used to Orji at quarterback. And they're going to start playing a little bit better.
He cannot throw the football.
He really can't.
All right.
It's painful to watch, in fact.
That's our show today. Thank you to our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. LT and I have been enjoying the Michelob Ultra and the Stella from our friends at Adams Beverage. Also, the great folks who bring us the Pick 3 every week, our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. LT, tell us about B-Dubs.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings, a great place to stop in all weekend long for all of your college football tonight, tomorrow, NFL Sunday Ticket, 11 Central Alabama locations, including the Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia. #1 sports bar in Birmingham for over 20 years, 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads. Stop in all weekend long, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Jeff says Tuttle may be an option at quarterback for Michigan this weekend. We'll see if they make a change. Everything else we'll talk about tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time with our next round game day. So we'll get going with that tomorrow at 9 a.m., 9 to 10 in our preview show, live on all our video platforms only. Krusty says he does the same thing. He comes up with 8 games and narrows it down to 3.
It's
a magic number.
I struggle to find 3.
Yeah. All right. Until next time. Hey, and special thanks to Brownie and Tyler and Forrester and everyone else who did the hard work to get us on the air after some technical issues to start with. Thank you guys very much. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.